Investigations involving shootings by federal officers. The first in Minneapolis, and the shooting death of Renee Good by an ICE agent. Mayor Jacob Fry saying now that Minnesota officials say they cannot access ICE shooting evidence.
This is not the time to bend the rules. This is a time to follow the law. This is not a time to hide from the facts. This is a time to embrace them, making sure that we're pushing for transparency every step of the way.
CBS's Jim Krasula.
Dozens of Minneapolis parents, teachers, and school staff gathered in a snowy park to demand that federal immigration agents stay off school property. Amanda Otero is with a group called Take Action Minnesota.
We are demanding that every elected official and decision maker use the full extent of their power to get ICE out of Minnesota.
The Minneapolis school system is offering families the option of remote learning for a month amid federal immigration enforcement in the city. Jim Krasula, CBS News.
The FBI is also investigating the shooting and wounding of two people, a man and a woman, in a car in Portland, Oregon yesterday. The Department of Homeland Security says that U.S. Border Patrol agents were conducting a targeted vehicle stop when the Venezuelan driver in this country illegally attempted to run over law enforcement agents. Feds say the driver is a Venezuelan gang member and involved in a recent shooting in Portland. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the federal government is stepping up efforts to fight fraud in Minnesota and other states. Bessent says some of the money has been traced to organizations outside the country.
We are going to hold people accountable, set an example, and make sure that federal aid gets to the people it was intended for and not to these fraudsters.
Protests against the Iranian government and its crippling economic policies spread across Iran. CBS's Imtiaz Tayeb.
Iranian security forces have been deployed in force, and rights groups have now reported that dozens have been killed and many more injured and arrested as these clashes escalate. We're also hearing reports of protesters confronting riot police on the ground who are firing back not only with tear gas, but also with live fire.
The government has cut off the public's internet and online telephone access. The accused killer of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson is back in a New York courtroom. CBS's Anna Schechter with more on Luigi Mangione.
Defense attorneys are trying to argue death penalty should be off the table, but they also want that evidence to be essentially cast aside, thrown out as not admissible.
Stocks are up on Wall Street right now. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The latest on an ICE operation in Seattle, but first, KIRO News Radio traffic. Here's Nate Connors.
We're looking pretty good out there for the most part, Heather. This report brought to us by the Emerald Queen Casino. We still have this ramp closure in Auburn, southbound 167 at State Route 18. They're working to upright this rollover semi. Meanwhile, it is fully blocking the off-ramp to eastbound 18. No estimated time for this to reopen. In the meantime, you can exit to the outlet mall, the very next exit, cross over the freeway, make a U-turn, and that'll get you onto eastbound 18. As far as I can tell, you can still access eastbound 18 from the West Valley Highway. In Montlake, roadwork still has the Montlake Boulevard off-ramp closed up till 3 o'clock. South 5 into Seattle starting to get a little crowded now from Northgate into downtown. Still less than 20 minutes from Linwood to Seattle. And we've got a new collision in Renton. North 5 at Sunset Boulevard. It's blocking your left lane. Live professional boxing is back with the main event February 6th at the Emerald Queen Casino. The main event powered by WFC. February 6th only at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Heather Bosch. 11 elementary school students have been taken to a hospital after a crash involving a school bus and a sedan near Parkland.
Investigators say the bus from Collins Elementary in the Franklin Pierce School District had the right-of-way when the sedan made a left turn in front of the bus. 32 students were on board. 11 were transported to the hospital with varying degrees of injuries. Deputy Carly Capetto says the school district officials were also on scene.
Coordinating with parents and getting the kids safely onto another bus.
The driver of the sedan was also transported to the hospital. The extent of his injuries is unknown. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
We're learning about an ICE operation in Seattle this week. Witnesses say agents detained 3 men across the street from a Home Depot. Seattle City Council member Bob Kettle.
It's sad to me that they're masked up and basically in full gear. You know, as a veteran of Iraq in Baghdad 0304, I don't think we need full battle rattle at the Home Depot on Aurora.
We've reached out to ICE for comment. The action came on the same day an ICE agent fatally shot a mother in Minneapolis and a day before Border Patrol shot and wounded 2 people in Portland. The families of the 4 University of Idaho students stabbed to death in 2022 are suing Washington State University. The lawsuit, obtained by the New York Times, claims WSU ignored warning signs about convicted killer Brian Koberger, who was a graduate student there. The families say the school received at least 13 complaints about him stalking and harassing women. The Ship Canal Bridge is the most heavily traveled bridge in Seattle, and it's going to shut down this weekend for construction. Washington State Transportation Secretary Julie Meredith.
We will fully close northbound I-5 this weekend from I-90 to Northeast 45th Street starting at midnight, January 9th, and reopening at 5 a.m., January 12th.
The closure will allow the setup of safe construction zones to protect workers for an extended restoration and 2 northbound lane closures through 2026. This week's winter storm dropped heavy snow across the mountains between Tuesday and Thursday. The National Weather Service says Paradise got the most snow at 35 inches. KIRO News Radio weather, cloudy skies with highs in the upper 40s. It's 52 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio. With your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome to Friday, January 9th. Jake Skorheim here, Spike O'Neill right there.
Hey, buddy.
Happy Friday to you.
Happy Friday, man. What a week.
What a week. It flew by. Lots of stuff happened this week. Lots of stuff to talk about.
We started the year off on rocket fuel. Feels like this week brought to you by SpaceX. I feel like this week the year was launched into orbit.
Yeah. Just too fast. Too fast to start of the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's slow things down a little bit. Let's slow it down. Well, we're not going to do that today. We have a lot of stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk to Luke Ducey in just a minute, who is live down in Portland. You probably have heard by now there was another incident involving, I believe this was this ICE or was this Border Patrol down in Portland?
This was Border Patrol engagement between Border Patrol and 2 people who they are Venezuelan, if I get right, nationals, with alleged ties to
Trinidad gang.
Yeah.
And anyway, we have all that. Luke's down there, so we're going to talk with him in just a minute. Later in the show, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, and we have some technology stuff that you and I are both really interested in. And it relates to how our kids use technology, which I'm really interested in because I feel like I'm on the forefront of this battle at all times.
Oh, yeah. It's your war now, buddy. Yeah.
It does feel like my war now. We had a really good, if you guys missed this, we had a really good interview yesterday with a pediatrician, a UW researcher, pediatrician at Seattle Children's. I mean, the guy has all the resume you could ever hope for.
A pediatric professor. I was, the depth of his knowledge and study into this field of pediatrics, kids.
Yeah, of kids.
And the psychological impacts of our society on kids. It's an amazing interview.
And what is happening to kids as it results from their use of social media and screens and all that. It's fascinating. That was yesterday on the podcast. You can check that out yesterday. I believe it was at 2:30. Is that when we talked to him?
Yes.
2:30. All right. We have a ton of stuff to get to, so let's get to it right away. Let's welcome Luke Ducey on from Portland. Luke, welcome back to the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Luke, you are right now at a medical facility in Portland, which is where this shooting took place. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So earlier this morning, I was at the ICE detention facility here in Portland, which is several miles south from where I am right now, because there were protesters there, hundreds of them last night, 6 arrested by Portland PD. This morning, though, very different story at the ICE facility. No protesters. It was very quiet. So I've moved up here. I'm right now right outside the Adventist Medical Building. This is in the eastern part of Portland, north of that ICE detention facility where that shooting took place yesterday. The medical building is closed today. All appointments, and there are a bunch of people that keep coming up asking, hey, I've got to go to my appointment. Nope, it's closed for the day. They've got the parking lot cut off. It's got police tape, and they've got security guards here around the clock on the sidewalks, making sure that none of us, get close to the scene.
Can you give kind of just a brief for anybody who hasn't really paid attention to this yet, or if you haven't been following this online? There was an incident. There was a targeted vehicle stop that took place in Portland yesterday. The passenger in the vehicle drives off at a certain point. There were shots fired by Border Patrol, and they don't chase that vehicle. That vehicle makes its way somewhere else, and then a 911 call comes in, and two occupants in the vehicle both had gun injuries. Is that right?
Yeah, you nailed it. So exactly. So where I am right here at this scene, it was yesterday, it was smack dab in the middle of the afternoon. The Department of Homeland Security is saying now that some federal agents here, and it sounds like they're with Customs and Border, you can say border agents, but with Customs and Border Protection. This was a targeted arrest. They were looking for these two people. The DHS has named them, and we're naming them too in the news as well. It's Luis Moncada and Yorlenes Zambrano Contreras. Those are the two they were looking for. They found him here. Thank you. And they pinned them in, apparently, boxed them in. One witness told the Seattle Times that the driver looks like Moncada, the man, who has ties, according to DHS, and is involved with Tren de Agua, the Venezuelan gang, got scared, and he rammed his car backwards into a federal agent's vehicle and then went forward at a higher rate of speed. Now, the DHS claim is that he was heading right for agents, so they fired. This witness tells the Seattle Times they heard 5 gunshots, and then later on, down the road in a different location, car stopped. At that location, paramedics were called. The two were taken to 2 different hospitals. We don't know what condition they're in or if they've been charged. I would have guessed they're being detained right now. I don't know they've been formally arrested on suspicion of charges that are pending or coming. But, other details really quickly, that they both entered the U.S. illegally, according to DHS. They refer to them as criminal illegal aliens. That Moncada has been found guilty of at least 2 different crimes. And then they describe her as could be his wife. That's what the early reports were, but DHS got a little more descriptive and said she is his prostitute, and they are engaged in active crime as well. But again, no word on their condition. I'll say this too, real fast. The Oregon Justice Department has gotten involved as well. They are launching their own investigation. Sure. They say they will prosecute any federal agents if they find that any of those agents acted and used on a reasonable scope of duty. But it sounds like this incident very different from what happened in Minneapolis.
Luke, you kind of broke up a little bit there. They're going to the local law enforcement is going to investigate the federal use of force.
Yeah, so the Oregon Department of Justice has said they are opening up their own investigation, and they will look into the use of force in this scenario. And if they find that an officer or an agent, federal agent in this case, used force, quote, beyond the reasonable scope of their duty, then they will prosecute that federal agent.
Thank you. Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah, to the extent that they can, I guess. It's interesting because when I first heard the story, the very first flash of this I saw was it first referred to it as ICE, and then after that it was like, no, it's not ICE, it's Border Patrol, Customs Enforcement, Border Patrol. And then it had also described it as a married couple were shot in their vehicle, and then the story developed further, and it was like, well, we don't know exactly if they're married or if they're part of this gang, and she may be a prostitute, and he may be the pimp, and there's all these other things. It is interesting to me how these stories, depending on where you see them, have different versions that are told in a snap second, because everybody only reads the headline.
Yes,
you don't read the details of the story.
So quick to get something out into the public sphere.
Yeah,
to get and I understand the value and need to get out information quickly.
Sure,
we take great Luke does. We all do here at KIRO. Takes great care to make sure we get the story and the facts right for you.
Yeah, we got, and to KIRO's credit, you got Luke down there on the street, and they said, hey, this is in our backyard essentially, so let's close. It's our neighbor. Let's get him down there so we can get the information firsthand. And Luke, are you seeing a lot of, when I'm seeing the scenes in Minnesota, I mean, these two things happen like right after each other. The scenes in Minnesota are chaos. You have all this national news media there. What are you seeing as it relates in Portland? Is it a similar environment, or it feels to me like it's toned down a little bit?
No, just the opposite. Last night, I think when there was this kind of, knee-jerk reaction to information that people had because it was very difficult to get information early on. But this was late last night. Hundreds immediately went to, I think they went to protest in front of City Hall and other places in the city. They also went directly to the ICE facility where I was at this morning, and they were protesting. They were angry. They were upset and fueled by, here's another shooting on a second day in a row involving federal agents. And now it seems, I don't know if this is the reason why, but it seems to me this would make sense that as more information comes out about this particular incident in Portland, as frustrating it is, I think, for people, because you've got another case of federal agents and a shooting in public, which is scary in and of itself. Sure. Because of the circumstances, there's nobody here at this scene. There's nobody at the ICE facility this morning protesting. There isn't anything like candles or a vigil or photos. There's nothing like that. And in fact, there was another reporter that walked by me when I got here to this scene where the medical building is and said, "Hey, you having any luck?" Meaning, in our business, ain't no one talking. I mean, there's no one to talk to.
Well, because what is there even to say at this point? Well, I would imagine two things are probably the cause of that. Number one, neither of these people are being reported as having died from these injuries. So it's a different level of story. Yeah. And the other one is they might be gang members and prostitutes. It's you feel a different sympathy factor if somebody's doing something illegal.
Well, this is exactly what Customs and Border Patrol and ICE should be doing. Finding violent criminals that are eluding the law. This is a targeted stop of these two people. This is exactly what's supposed to be going on with law enforcement. And it sounds like it was handled pretty spot on. I mean, I can only speculate.
Well, when a vehicle's flying at you, then you have to
exactly.
respond. Yeah.
But this wasn't, ICE, reaching into a community, just, rounding up people who they suspect may be in violation of law. These were targeted individuals by Customs and Border Patrol. It's a completely different scenario than what happened in Minneapolis before any shots were fired. It was a completely different scenario.
We're going to talk more about that at 1 o'clock, too. Yeah. We're going to have a little more of a longer discussion on that at 1 o'clock. But so, Luke, is there anything else that we should know about before we let you go?
Well, the only thing I would add is, again, these two cases are completely different, Minneapolis compared to Portland. But I think, part of this investigation here, certainly in Portland, and I think Portland officials and state officials here want to be involved in the investigation because they also want to make sure, because you're wanted and you are involved reportedly in a gang, a very violent gang from South America, they want to make sure that everyone followed procedure and policy and process here. You don't want to you can still have a bad shoot. Even when you're dealing with people
gang
who
members, possibly,
yeah, absolutely, you can have a good shoot, or with someone innocent as well, who is a mother in Minneapolis, you can have a bad shoot or a good shoot in that incident as well. That's why it is so important to really get the facts and get the investigations done in the right way. That's the only thing I would add.
All right, that's Luke Ducey down there in Portland. We really appreciate your time, Luke, and thanks for gathering all that info.
Yeah, have a great weekend.
All right, you too, man. All right, speaking of the Minnesota and the Portland, and there was apparently a few arrests yesterday in Seattle as well. I'm gonna play you these Katie Wilson comments in just a second. But I want to read. I believe this was yesterday. There was a presser in Portland. There was a very quick, everybody get together and stand behind a microphone and let's start making announcements. And it was Governor Tina Kotek of Oregon and Portland Mayor Keith Wilson. And this is right after all this stuff happened. And, obviously we're still learning a lot more about it. But this was them yesterday.
Portland is not a training ground for militarized agents. When the administration talks about using full force, we are seeing what it means on our streets. The consequences are not abstract. They are felt in hospital rooms and living rooms, in the quiet moments when families try to make sense of what happened, what is happening. We know what the federal government says happened here. There was a time when we could take them at their word. That time is long past. That is why we are calling on ICE to halt all operations in Portland until a full and independent investigation can take place. Our community deserves answers.
Again, this was nice, but...
Our community deserves accountability. And most of all, our community deserves peace. The administration is trying to divide us, to pit communities against one another, to make us fear one another. ICE agents and their Homeland Security leadership must fool.
We're going to get into this more at 1 o'clock. I would if I were running the city, I don't run cities. I'm not obviously an elected official, but if I were working,
think about it. You should think about it.
Well, you and I should both think about it. Maybe we'll do like a.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to derail. Go ahead.
No. That's totally fine. Katie Wilson also made some comments. She put out a statement yesterday. There was a vigil held last night for remembering Renee Good, who was the woman who died in Minnesota. Katie Wilson also put out a comment. It sounds similar to what Keith Wilson said down in Portland. I guess they're kind of they're counterparts, kind of.
Sure.
I don't know if he's doing the city a huge service there when he's talking about them trying to divide us. I mean, you're talking about them making an arrest, if it is true. If it turns out to be true, number one, he says, I don't know if I can believe what they're saying, but let's put that aside. Let's say that DHS is not lying about this and the guy is a Trendeagua.
Mm-hmm.
How do you pronounce that?
Trendeagua.
Yeah. Let's say that he is a gang member and that she is one of his prostitutes and there's a sex trafficking ring happening.
Yeah.
Isn't it to society's benefit for those people if they're doing illegal things and they have records and they're here illegally? Isn't it a benefit for those people to not be doing those illegal things in the community?
Absolutely true.
So what I would say to Keith Wilson is like, maybe just wait a beat. I mean, he doesn't even identify the right federal agency, but maybe just wait a beat as he's describing these things before it feels to me like he's.
Well,
he could have toned down rhetoric, and I think it would be more helpful.
I think that's fair to say.
I'm not saying his sentiment is completely wrong. He can feel those ways all he wants.
I think you're right. He's trying to speak to a city who has a much larger perception of federal involvement in their city than this particular incident involving Customs and Border Patrol and these two targeted suspects that were attempted to be apprehended, eventually apprehended. So he's speaking to a city where he sees ICE come in with some broad-reaching efforts to round up illegal immigrants.
Again, this was not ICE, but
but he's speaking to that.
Portland has a history recently with ICE and facilities.
The city has been experiencing that type of situation with ICE, as has Seattle, as has so many cities. And these mayors, they're mayors of progressive cities, and they were elected by progressive electors, Katie Wilson and the mayor of Portland,
Keith Wilson. Yeah.
Keith Wilson, and ours is.
He's Keith Wilson. She's Katie Wilson.
Yeah. Both
KWs.
I know, right? Both these mayors
Interesting.
They represent very progressive cities.
Have anybody ever seen them in the same room at the same time?
I have photos of them together as kids at Christmas, which is ironic.
All right, well,
sorry. Anyway,
sorry.
Your overall point, your larger point is spot on. We're so quick to speak to our side of the aisle, our tribe of priorities and beliefs.
Sure.
That we're, and I understand that they want to tell the community, look, that we feel these agencies, ICE in particular, is overreaching. And we want them to stop that because they feel it's divisive. I think that's what he was speaking to. But in light of this particular incident in Portland, he is not addressing it correctly. He's not identifying what happened.
And I don't know if it's very responsible given the nature of the escalated things that are happening in Minnesota.
Yes, it's a rhetoric. It's an important moment.
It cannot be viewed outside of that lens. And so for him to jump in front of a microphone with everybody available and to be saying these things. It's similar to what Katie Wilson said yesterday, and I'm going to just play you a 13-second clip. We can play more of her longer clip later. We're almost out of time here. But she makes an assessment about what happened in Minnesota, and I don't know if she's in a position to make this assessment, but it speaks to what I was just saying in turning down the temperature. She may have been elected by a specific group of people in the city, but she is now the mayor of everybody in Seattle. So what she needs to do is think about what's best for the city, and is statements like this going to escalate things or de-escalate things? You tell me.
This latest abuse comes on the heels of the murder of Renee Nicole Good in Minneapolis by federal agents. Renee was a poet, a caring neighbor, and a mother. Someone with a family whose community is now grieving unimaginable loss.
I mean, she's making an assessment that it's murder.
Yeah, that's very responsible.
Which I think paints it in a way that's not fair and does not move the conversation in any positive way. It feels to me like she's targeting a very specific response using words like that.
Yeah.
And again, if I were the mayor's PR person, I would say, hey, you know what? What if we back up a little bit and let's let the investigations play out?
That's solid advice for everybody involved in this.
But again, you and me are not elected officials.
No, but we could advise. We have this show, and the mayor's hopefully listening to what we have to say.
I know she's a big fan. She's a huge fan of
and we're not trying to argue against her point of view. Use a tone that is reflective of the entire population of the city you're elected to govern. Use a tone that speaks to everyone in different perspectives, different priorities at once, instead of supercharging one perspective and one narrative, which is what she did here.
It feels to me like she's giving one side of things here. Yeah, I agree. All right. Spike and I, obviously, we know better, right?
Yeah, don't like
we
to brag
should just
about
have
it.
a segment called We Know Better.
We know better. Hey, listen up.
As grumpy old men, we know better.
We're giving you gold here.
All right. Can we talk a little bit? We have an update with that player who threatened to leave University of Washington.
We sure do, yeah.
This is the chaotic journey continues.
Yeah.
This is pretty wild. Stick around. We'll be right back.
After voters made it clear they want change.
That I will faithfully conduct myself as the mayor of the city of Seattle.
What should Seattle residents expect from Mayor Katie Wilson?
She talked a lot about our affordability crisis.
Northwest News voices you depend on.
It's a misdiagnosis of the problem. You believe government can solve this problem.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM. The KIRO News Radio app with opinion and analysis at mynorthwest.com.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Veterans, the new year's a good time to re-examine finances. If you're struggling with bills, VA loan expert Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage says he may have a solution.
Many veterans are sitting on a lot of home equity, and even with a low mortgage rate, your total monthly payments may be a struggle. The good news is with today's lower VA loan rates, you can do a VA cash-out refinance and pay off your high-interest rate debt and roll everything into one low monthly payment. For example, one VA client saved more than $1,200 per month. And remember, with a VA loan, you can buy a home with no money down.
And you always talk to a real person, not an AI robot.
That's right. Whether you're a veteran or seeking a conventional loan, you'll talk directly to me or an experienced senior advisor, never an AI bot.
Honest advice you can trust. From Best Mortgage, the VA loan experts. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage. 425-649-6000.
What does VA mean to me?
A place for my daughter to call home. Thanks to the VA Home Loan.
A new lease on life. The best healthcare team I've ever had is here at VA.
And education, and the opportunity to open doors I never thought possible with my GI Bill.
The financial support I need to manage the disabilities I developed because of my service.
Get what you earn. Visit choose.va.gov.
Not all veterans are eligible for the type or amount of benefits mentioned here.
At Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation, we know that keeping your home watertight and dry is essential to your family's safety and comfort. Having well-functioning gutters prevents water damage to your home and prolongs the life of your roof. Whether you need a cleaning or a complete gutter install, we do it all. Call today and get $250 off a gutter installation and visit us at guardianroofing.com.
Join Northwest Hope and Healing for Cork, Fork, and Support, an afternoon of wine tasting and inspiration benefiting local breast and gynecologic cancer patients. Get your tickets now for January 31st. Go to nwhopeandhealing.org to learn more.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Save $10 on a pair of Rain-X Latitude wiper blades at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Our professional parts people will even install them for free.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
For 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has earned local trust with honest pricing and guaranteed repairs. That's why they're Carfax preferred. No gimmicks, just great service. Bucky's.com.
How about a New Year's resolution where the commitment takes just one day and the results can last a lifetime? Address years of hair loss like I did with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment. Using your own natural hair, Advanced Hair can restore your bald spot, receding hairline, or thinning. All backed by Advanced Hair's guarantee. Celebrate the new year with a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Heather Bosch. A crash between a sedan and a school bus near Parkland has sent 11 elementary school students to a hospital. KIRO 7 TV's Madeline Ottley is on the scene.
We can see some debris. It's not entirely clear to us at this time if this is from this crash, but certainly a lot of glass that's spread around. What we know so far is that 32 kids in the Franklin Pierce School District were heading to Collins Elementary School. The bus had a green light at this intersection, but a man in a sedan ran the light. According to the Pierce County Sheriff's Office, he was at fault here. The bus driver hit the brakes hard. It caused all 32 kids to fly forward, hit their head and their necks onto those seats in front of them.
The children have varying degrees of injuries, most of them said to be minor. To Portland, where Mayor Keith Wilson says,
our community deserves answers. Our community deserves accountability.
This after federal agents shot at a car, wounding 2 people yesterday.
A stern warning from Oregon Governor Tina Kotek after Homeland Security says Customs and Border agents shot 2 suspected Venezuelan gang members in Portland.
We demand transparency. We demand your cooperation with Portland Police and the Multnomah County DA.
Hundreds flocked to the ICE facility Thursday night in protests of the shooting. Portland police arrested 6 people. In Portland, Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Get ICE off our street! Protests in Seattle after a Minneapolis mother was fatally shot by an ICE agent in her own neighborhood. Homeland Security says the woman was trying to run him over. Witnesses say it looked like she was trying to drive away. The FBI is investigating. On the same day as the ICE shooting in Minneapolis Wednesday, witnesses reported seeing ICE detain 3 people across the street from the Home Depot in Seattle. Seattle police confirm federal agents were in the area, but say they cannot interfere with immigration operations. The man accused of fatally shooting the CEO of United Healthcare is in federal court as his lawyers try to take the death penalty off the table. Trial lawyer Richard Schoenstein explains.
Killing somebody in the federal system is not enough to get the death penalty. Even intentional murder is not enough. You need another hook.
Prosecutors are also accusing Luigi Mangione of stalking. Washington State's insurance commissioner is fining Kaiser Permanente $300,000. Patty Kuderer says the Kaiser Foundation Health Plan of Washington violated federal law when it comes to covering mental health and addiction. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 259 points. NASDAQ ahead 226. KIRO News Radio traffic. Here's Nate Connors.
Thank you, Heather. The Emerald Queen Casino has our update. We're starting to get a little busy out there. Let's update you in Auburn with our closure of the southbound 167 off-ramp to eastbound 18. It's still blocked from this rollover semi. We have Class C tows on scene uprighting it as we speak, so hopefully this will be cleared shortly. In the meantime, you can take the very next exit to the outlet mall, cross the freeway, make a little U-turn, and that'll get you back on the eastbound 18. We have road work at the Montlake Boulevard off-ramp from eastbound 520, fully blocking that off-ramp until 3 o'clock. A reminder, if you get on eastbound 520 in Seattle, you'll have to cross the bridge and pay the toll. In Renton, North 5 at Sunset Boulevard, our collision is now on your right shoulder. It was blocking, so traffic slows through the S-curves. We've got a new collision south 405 in Factoria, just before Coal Creek Parkway. It was just moved to the right shoulder, but traffic jams up approaching I-90 and heading into Seattle South 5. You're slow from the U-District into downtown. Live professional boxing is back with the main event February 6th at the Emerald Queen Casino. The main event powered by WFC February 6th only at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio weather. Cloudy skies today with highs in the low 50s. It's 52 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
All right, welcome back to the show. We have been following this saga at the University of Washington, where you have a player who last season, he played for UW last season, right? Damon Williams Jr.?
Damon played in every game his freshman year, started the last 2 games of the year his freshman year. Last year, his sophomore year, started every game.
Okay.
One of the leading offensive producers in the Big Ten. Took the Huskies to, I think, 8 regular season wins and a bowl win over Boise State. Played very, very well. His stock went up. He then signed a money deal, an NIL, name, image, and likeness deal, revenue sharing agreement with the University of Washington. That was announced a week ago today, last Friday.
To the tune of how much?
$4 million. The ballpark, $4 million.
$4 million, which is at the upper end of all NIL paid money, right?
Yeah, top 10, 15% of NIL money for quarterbacks. Yeah,
sure.
That's fair to say.
Okay.
His agent, who represents not just Williams, but also the coach of UW, Coach Fish, and several other Husky players, signed him to a very what they call boilerplate agreement with the Big Ten, because they're in the business of paying athletes now, and it's the evolution of what we're doing.
The world, for better or worse, that's the world they're in.
So the Huskies lock down their star quarterback moving forward. That helps you bring in other key players to help fill your roster in this age of the transfer portal.
Sure.
Well, then goes fast forward a couple days from last Friday,
and he makes a decision. He makes an announcement that he's going to enter the transfer portal because there are greener pastures possibly out there for him. He could play for LSU or some big school.
The rumors were LSU or Miami were the two. And Oregon, I heard, also was one of the top, when it was announced that he was entering the portal.
Yeah.
Some of the top prospects that were looking for a quarterback, high-caliber quarterback that was available to move, as he had made himself by entering the portal.
Now, nobody is arguing that he should not have been able to go to the transfer portal. That's every college player can do that.
It's the nature of the game today.
If you haven't already signed a deal with somebody. So he signed a deal,
right?
Which is the problem. So he then makes this announcement. His agent, you just mentioned a second ago, I think it's Doug Henriksen. Is that the guy's name?
I believe that's correct, yeah.
Doug Henriksen is the guy's agent, and he dropped him shortly after that, and they cited philosophical differences as the reason to why he was dropping him.
Yeah, we'd like you to keep your word and our reputation.
Yeah, you're right. It reflects poorly on the agent that he's not able to talk his player out of, or his client out of, not living up to something he signed.
Contractual agreement, yes.
And again, it's different than when when young players are in high school and they make a verbal commitment to attend a school.
Right, letter of intent.
Letter of intent versus this $4 million is a lot of money. He's making more money than most professional athletes.
Yeah, it's more than the NFL minimum. Yeah.
So it's very good money. Yeah. But he had the potential, apparently, according to Salk, we had Mike Salk on earlier in the week, of making maybe somewhere in the nature of $6 million at one of these other schools. So to a guy like this, who may or may not have much of an NFL future,
right?
You got to make it
5'11", 190.
Make hay while the sun shines.
Yeah.
So
and 19 years old.
Young guy. Yeah. So anyway, the update on this is he has now made an announcement. He has said, after thoughtful reflection with my family, I am excited to announce that I will continue my football journey at the University of Washington. I am deeply grateful to my coaches, teammates, and everyone in the program for fostering an environment where I can thrive both as an athlete and an individual. I'm fully committed and focused on contributing to what we are building. And then you and I were asking, like, all right, well, how is that going to be received at the UW? Are they happy to have him back, or are they feeling like, kind of a jilted lover who is about to leave, and now you're being told, oh, I'm actually going to stay because maybe my exit path wasn't as clear as I thought, so I'm going to stay.
Well,
but now you're in this relationship.
I wonder, because I don't know. He's a 19-year-old kid. And how they respond to this, your question, I think depends upon what he does here.
Yeah.
And I think that is dictated by what kind of advice is he getting.
Well, here's what UW head coach Jed Fish had to say. Did you see this?
Mm-mm.
Over the last few days, DeMond and I engaged in very honest and heartfelt conversations about his present and future. I support him, and we will work together to begin the process of repairing relationships and regaining the trust of the Husky community. I mean, trust is really the operative word.
Yes.
You want to feel like this guy, ride or die, he's here, he's ready to go, he's going to put in his all. There's players in professional sports, like I used to see this when I was in the NBA, no big deal, as a ball boy.
I love that you don't brag often. I love it.
I don't brag about it. I don't like to brag about it. 4 seasons, whatever, I don't know, as a ball boy. But there was guys in the NBA who you watched as their contract year came up they would suddenly get very good at playing when they were about to get a new contract.
Okay.
And then they would get a new contract, and then their numbers would kind of peter off a little
They kind
bit.
of take the foot off the gas a little bit.
Yes.
Think about long-term career time.
So that was my question with him. If he was going to be forced to play with the University of Washington against his will because he could be making $2 million extra somewhere else, is that going to inhibit his ability to really thrive at UW? Or would that be self-defeating and he would really play as hard as he could there? Like, what do you think?
Luckily, we'll never have to know if that was, because that wasn't the case. The UW threatened to take him to court.
Yeah.
After his agent dropped him, he
Force
picked up
him.
he picked up a different legal representation. Because he's a 19-year-old kid, he deserves legal representation. The judge didn't tell me he had to play here. I think he saw the environment he had created through this breach of contract and breach of trust.
Yeah.
To put the coach's word back in play.
So he has a new agent?
He has an attorney.
Okay.
He has an attorney when the university threatened to sue him for breach of contract. He got an attorney. He saw the environment he had created.
Having a good attorney is very useful because they can save you a lot of money.
They can save you, yeah.
They can save you a lot of money.
And make you a lot of money. I mean, it may have been when he looked at a lawsuit from the UW, and no matter what money he gets from another university, he's going to have to pay some type of settlement to the UW. The money's going to be a push. Why are you destroying your reputation?
100%.
You know, and then
he's in court, and everyone's just like, listen, dude, you're going to blow this thing.
He's the face of what's all wrong about college football.
That's what they're saying.
That's if he had this had moved forward through the legal system, he'd have been the face of what's broken in college football. Now, what you said, what happens moving forward? If I'm him, if I'm his dad, because Damon Williams Sr. is involved with his son's life.
Sure.
You know, I'm saying, look, you go to you mea culpa, but a heartfelt look, guys. I'm 19. I got caught up. I started looking at these numbers. People were giving me. Took some bad advice.
Totally.
I forgot what mattered to me and you guys and blah blah blah. He's got the opportunity to mend fences quickly, build a strong sense of trust and teamwork amongst these young men, and lead the university to some big success.
Now, let me ask you a question. He's a junior this year?
Yes.
So he has still at least one more year of eligibility? He played his freshman year, right?
Played his freshman year.
Okay, so he's only got 1 year after this availability. He's got 2 years.
2 years left to
eligibility.
play, and they may not both be here. Who knows?
So maybe he plays for the UW this year, and he crushes.
Yeah.
And then he takes that final year. Just like when Wilson went off to wherever. Remember Russell Wilson played out everywhere, and then his
He started at NC State and ended up at Wisconsin.
Did an extra year at Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Maybe he does that. Maybe he makes a little extra money, and that's this.
And maybe that was some of the advice he got. Maybe moving's the right move, but moving now is not the right time.
Yeah,
maybe he did.
You know what's silver lining for him? I mean, number one, like you said, he's now not going to be the face of everything that's wrong with college football.
He's got a chance to say, hey, look, I made a snap decision as a young man, got some bad advice, saw the error of my ways, corrected. I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
You know where else he got just dumb lucky?
Where?
Is that his agent dropped him. Because as soon as he went back to UW, his agent dropped him. He just saved $400,000 on agent fees.
Is that real? That's a good question. If the agent negotiated that NIL deal that he's still involved in,
but your agent dropped you.
Oh, that's man. Oh, that's wow.
Here's what I would say. Because his agent came out and gave a big old thing about, like, hey, we have philosophical differences, yada, yada, yada. If he wouldn't have done that, and he had just said, hey, I don't think we should be working together. This is really messy.
Right.
Maybe he would have a claim, but I would be very surprised if he comes after his former client for $400,000 that might be owed to him. That's not a small amount of money. That's a lot of money. For a year, $400,000. That's a good savings. That's a good savings. Good for him. I hope he does very well. Obviously, I hope the Huskies
It's all orchestrated to do this.
Boy,
he's right where he's supposed to be.
That's a long way to jump for agent fees.
Wow. Wow. Well, anyway, Damon Williams is back next year.
Good for you. Good job. All right. I want to talk to you guys next about something that. Are you a video gamer? Do you play a lot of video games?
I used to be when I was a younger man.
Perfect.
A kid, even. Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. There's a story about something that video games are now doing. Specifically, PlayStation is flirting with this idea.
You don't need quarters anymore. Am I hearing that right?
You don't have to have quarters. No, they take dollars. No, but this is for in-home gaming. This is for PlayStation. They're considering doing something that I think is so wrong in the world of gaming that I will discuss next, and I will talk to you, and it further undercuts our kids.
Okay.
And we'll talk about it. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Seattle voters wanted change.
I campaigned on affordability, on homelessness, on taxing the rich.
Can Mayor Wilson live up to the promises of candidate Wilson?
The self-proclaimed progressive socialist
managing high expectations. Trusted Northwest News voices you depend on.
More government programs, which means more tax dollars.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM. And the KIRO News Radio app.
For a long time, I thought retirement planning was mostly about hitting a number. Get there, and then life starts. Hi, this is Ursula Royteen. What Trajan Wealth helped me see is that the number is really only part of the story. At Trajan Wealth, their advisors are fiduciaries, which means they're obligated to put your needs first, and they start by asking how you actually want your life to feel. When Mark and I sat down with them, we talked about having more time with family, more time to travel, and how to make thoughtful choices without feeling like we had to put today on hold for tomorrow. I have goals for today and for when I retire. If you're ready to start the new year with straight talk and thoughtful guidance, call Trajan Wealth today and schedule a free meeting. Trajan, spelled Trajan. Call 206-656-3300. That's 206-656-3300, or visit TrajanWealth.com.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC. SEC registered investment advisor. Client paid advertisement. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through January 25th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
Guys, if your energy is low, your strength isn't what it used to be, or your drive feels off, it's not just getting older. For many men, it's low testosterone. At Revive Men's Health Washington, you can start with a free T-check, exam, and consultation, so you get real answers about your testosterone levels and overall health. And this month only, qualified patients may receive 25% off testosterone replacement therapy. This isn't guesswork or one-size-fits-all treatment. Revive specializes in personalized, closely monitored testosterone care designed to help men feel stronger, sharper, and more like themselves again. With over 120,000 patients treated since 2011, Revive Men's Health is trusted for results, not hype. If you've been putting this off, now is the time to act. Claim your free T-check and consultation and see if you qualify for 25% off TRT. This month only. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Terms apply. Must medically qualify.
The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. we can help.
PettergasLaw.com.
Gold, platinum, and Grammy-winning trumpeter Chris Bodie crossed over from jazz to pop stardom. Now he's crossing back. Hear his return to acoustic jazz and classic standards live at Jazz Alley, January 14th through 18th. Tickets at jazzalley.com.
Confidence with winter driving starts at Subaru of Puyallup. Find stress-free pricing and a stress-free experience at SubaruofPuyallup.com. Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership.
Welcome back to the show. Spike, you and I were talking before the break about video gaming. Are you what kind of video games do you play growing up?
No, see, I was an arcade quarter operated, Space Invaders. I could write. I had like every high score on the Space Invaders machine.
Did you really?
All top 10 were all me. And you could write little 3-letter codes. You end up writing, messaging in the. I played Tetris. I played Space Invaders. I played those games. Those arcade era games.
One of my buddies is Steve Wiebe,
the King of Kong.
King of Kong.
Of course.
He's the greatest Donkey Kong player in the history of the game.
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Wiebe's awesome.
He
had a machine in his garage. Yeah. I love it.
He trained.
But see, it's so funny because technology has evolved beyond my era of technological use. I was an arcade gamer.
You never played. You never had a Nintendo.
Never had a home PlayStation.
Really?
Never. No, I'm 62 years old.
No, but even in the 1980s, you would have been like prime time.
I was.
The Nintendo came out. I think was it 1982, 83?
Yeah. And I was a bartender.
You never went home from your nights at bartending and with your buddies just played Duck Hunt?
What, I'm going to tell her to sit on the couch while I play video games? No.
Oh, because I had
other things to do.
Nice.
Sorry.
All right.
Thanks for letting me get that in. That was really gracious of you.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't a problem for me. I played a lot of video games.
Well, so I'm not one to speak about the capabilities of gaming.
Okay,
because what kids can enjoy nowadays.
Here's what's happening nowadays that I find so objectionable, and I think this is a bad idea. PlayStation. I was reading this article earlier about how PlayStation is exploring this idea of using AI to, let's say you're playing a game. A really tough game. You're having a tough time.
Because I've got both my kids. We had a PlayStation. We had an Xbox.
Okay, there you go.
We had a Wii.
So you had systems in your house.
Yeah.
Let's say your kids are playing the game and they just cannot make it through a level. They're just struggling.
I've experienced the that the kids that I've seen it as a parent trying to calm them down. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
The correct response to that is that you throw your controller.
Yes.
And then you stomp off. And then you come back to it with a clear head, and then that gives you the opportunity.
Hope it still works.
In the very early days, if you were really frustrated and the game wasn't working, you just blew in the cartridge. But that was a whole different type of a problem.
Oh, yeah.
But so if you're losing at the game, you just can't get past a level or a final boss or something, you throw the controller, you walk away, you come back, and you just keep trying until you succeed. You figure out how to get better at the game.
Yes, you learn persistence.
Apparently, there's a patent now that is being explored to let AI take over in game if you're having trouble beating a level or something. As a player, you could use this AI ghost, essentially, is what they describe it in this article. You could use this AI ghost that could come in and could help you along to figure out how to beat it.
Just that one challenge.
So you can move beyond that and continue playing the game.
Huh.
And the problem I have with that is it's really valuable to have to overcome things. And you're not like, it's why losing as a team is so much better than losing on your own, which is why team sports are so great.
Yes, agreed.
You learn how to overcome these things. Nobody just like steps up to the plate and learns how to hit a curveball, but you have to take enough strikes and get hit enough to figure out how to do it, or you quit, which is another option.
Yeah.
But you figure out how to do it and you overcome. And if you have this, but a lot of that now happens with gaming. So many kids are now not doing outside team sports and things. So the only time they're like facing tough times is in a game. But if you had this AI thing that just you hit an AI button, you say, fix the problem for me. I guess this speaks to larger AI in everything, actually.
Yeah, it really does. I'm having trouble with this, following this report, putting this presentation together.
Sure.
Hey, AI.
Give me a Cliff's Notes.
Right.
Make this
Give me a PowerPoint presentation about why my boss let me keep my job, AI.
Yes.
And then you get fired and they give AI your job.
And then the boss is reading it with AI. It's just AI doing the job.
While you guys are on the golf course.
And then the big boss is like, what are these two people being paid for? Do you think this is a good idea or a bad idea?
I think it might make gaming more fun for kids. It may keep kids involved in gaming longer, which is their mission.
I don't think
but I don't think it's good for and to your point about why do kids play games?
Yeah.
To learn and have fun and challenge themselves. And the sense of accomplishment when you beat a hiccup in the game, when you finally figure out how to, hit jump, and get over and past on the fireball, you duck the fireball. That sense of accomplishment that you learn through just trial and error is why you play the game.
100%. 100%.
You're right. I hate this.
I don't like it.
This.
I hate it. It steals the joy. You cannot experience the highs without the lows. And if you never have to experience the lows, then what are you even doing?
How do you enjoy the highs?
How do you enjoy the highs?
They're worth nothing.
It is worth nothing. It's like putting in a cheat code back in the day. Left, right, up, down, left, right, A, B, whatever the code was.
Yeah.
I remember getting these. There was magazines. There was Power Play magazines, I think was the name of it.
They would send you cheat codes.
Well, you could find cheat codes for things.
Well, nowadays you can watch AI videos, or not AI, but you can watch YouTube videos.
You can watch, that's a
on
huge
how
thing.
to beat things.
Yeah.
They're trying to put YouTube out of business? What are they doing?
But it means nothing.
It means it's worthless.
It means nothing if you don't do it on your own.
Right.
And so I think this is a bad.
It's like you're in a video wrestling game. You just always tap out, team. Here comes Mongo.
Let the guy come in and win.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, we're champions.
I get to hold the other side of the belt. Yay.
Yeah, it means nothing.
You did nothing.
All right. We have a lot more coming up. We're going to talk. I saw a post from our governor about what happened in Minnesota. It kind of fits in with this theme of like, hey, just give it a minute before we start framing it in a very specific way. I want to read that to you guys and get your feelings on this. I'd love your feedback on this. All right. We got a lot more coming up. Stick around.
This is your city.
Seattle voters have spoken, and they wanted change.
Wilson really resonated, especially with some younger voters.
On the terms of working people make it work for them, Katie Wilson is just actually not afraid to say she's a socialist.
What challenges does the political newcomer face once taking office?
Never having any managerial experience.
Stay with KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com for the latest.
Change takes time, and we don't give it time.
And the KIRO Newsradio app.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter.
What does VA mean to me?
A place for my daughter to call home. Thanks to the VA home loan.
A new lease on life. The best healthcare team I've ever had is here at VA.
And education, and the opportunity to open doors I never thought possible with my GI Bill.
The financial support I need to manage the disabilities I developed because of my service.
Get what you earn. Visit choose.va.gov.
Not all veterans are eligible for the type or amount of benefits mentioned here.
Hey, this is Pete from Home Matters. Tune in this weekend when we'll talk with local business owners about everything in and around your home. Join us on Saturdays from 2 to 3 right here on KIRO News Radio, or listen to the podcast on MyNorthwest.com.
Breast cancer is a tough battle for anyone to fight. But when you can't work, care for your kids, or even put food on the table, that diagnosis can be devastating. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda, a plastic surgeon who is proud to support Northwest Hope and Healing. Our mission is to provide a lifeline for breast and gynecologic cancer patients. We cover essentials like food, utilities, and childcare, so patients can focus on healing. For more than 25 years, Northwest Hope and Healing has distributed over $3 million to thousands of local cancer patients, and you can help make a difference in our community. Join us on Saturday, January 31st for Cork, Fork, and Support. An afternoon of fine wine, gourmet cuisine, and inspiration at Mary Hill Winery in the heart of Woodinville wine country. Get your tickets now for Cork, Fork, and Support on January 31st. Go to nwhopeandhealing.org to learn more. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
Start the new year taking active liver supplements from New Nordic. Online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com or at CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. At a White House meeting this afternoon, President Trump tells major oil and gas company executives they are dealing with the U.S., not Venezuela, when it comes to that country's oil reserves. Trump says he hopes the American oil companies will build totally new infrastructure and not repair and upgrade the old.
I hope it's going to be brand new as opposed to a rehab, because I know the tremendous difference between the new and the not so new in your industry. The new is much more beautiful, much better in every way.
ExxonMobil CEO says Venezuela is currently uninvestable. U.S. Southern Command confirms another oil tanker linked to Venezuela has been interdicted by U.S. forces in the Caribbean. CBS's Natalie Brand.
Now we've seen 5 vessels seized after the latest action reported by U.S. Southern Command today. U.S. forces seen boarding that vessel, identified as the Olina.
The command posted unclassified footage on social media of a U.S. helicopter landing on the vessel and U.S. personnel searching the deck. D.C. pipe bomb suspect Brian Cole Jr. has pleaded not guilty to federal charges of interstate transfer of explosives and malicious intent to use explosives after he was indicted by a federal grand jury earlier this week. The White House has shared cell phone video of a new angle of the fatal shooting of Renee Good by an Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent in Minneapolis Wednesday. A source said the video comes from the ICE agent who fired the shots. More from CBS's Usher Qureshi, who is in South Minneapolis.
Vice President Vance tweeted this out, and he says in his tweet, quote, "Watch this. As hard as it is, many of you have been told this law enforcement officer wasn't hit by a car, wasn't being harassed and murdered an innocent woman. The reality is that his life was endangered and he fired in self-defense."
An early evening vigil for Renee Good is planned at the Minnesota State Capitol for members of the community. The Trump administration is cracking down on thousands of refugee cases in Minnesota, re-examining their immigration cases. CBS's Allison Keyes.
What's known as Operation Paris began in December, but is now targeting 5,600 refugees who have not yet received their green cards. That's lawful permanent U.S. residency, and refugees are eligible for them a year after entering this nation. But the government is doing new background checks, re-interviews, and re-examinations of their refugee status. DHS says American citizens and the rule of law come first, always. Allison Keyes, CBS News.
Free agent MLB outfielder Max Kepler has been suspended for 80 games following a positive test for a banned performance-enhancing substance. Stocks close up on Wall Street. The Dow closed up 238 points. NASDAQ jumped 191. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
A crash involving a school bus with kids on board. Details coming up, at first, KIRO News Radio traffic. Here's Nate Connors.
And Heather, we still got this crash down in Auburn, southbound 167 at State Route 18. This rollover semi is fully blocking the off-ramp to eastbound 18. They're still working to upright it. They've been working on this for a good hour plus now. Still no estimated time for a full reopening. You can take the very next exit to the outlet mall, cross over the freeway, make a quick U-turn, and that'll get you back to eastbound 18. Over at Montlake, Roadworks still has the Montlake Boulevard off-ramp closed from eastbound 520 for another 2 hours till 3 o'clock. In Renton, North 5 at Sunset Boulevard, look out for collision. It's on your right shoulder, but it's real close to the main line. Through Factoria, South 405 at Cold Creek Parkway, collision's on your right shoulder. It's not blocking, but drivers are slowing at the scene, and that's got traffic stacked up almost back to Southeast 8. Bellevue to Renton, give yourself 20 minutes, and South 5 into Seattle slows at Lake City Way into downtown. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Heather Bosch. 11 elementary school students are getting checked out at a hospital after a crash involving a school bus and a sedan near Parkland.
Investigators say the bus from Collins Elementary in the Franklin Pierce School District had the right-of-way when the sedan made a left turn in front of the bus. 32 students were on board. 11 were transported to the hospital with varying degrees of injuries. Deputy Carly Capetto says the school district officials were also on scene.
Coordinating with parents and getting the kids safely onto another bus.
The driver of the sedan was also transported to the hospital. The extent of his injuries is unknown. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Outrage from Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson.
I am furious at the federal government's abuse of power.
Wilson, after police confirmed 3 men were detained by ICE across the street from a Home Depot in Seattle this week. Local authorities have little power over federal operations. The action came on the same day an ICE agent fatally shot a mother in Minneapolis and a day before Border Patrol shot and wounded 2 people in Portland. A jury is now deliberating whether Seattle is responsible for the death of a teenager killed during the CHOP protests. The Seattle Times reports the case went to the jury yesterday after a month-long trial. 16-year-old Antonio Mays Jr. was shot at the Capitol Hill protest zone in 2020. A 911 call just obtained by KIRO 7 TV reveals tension in an East King County family prior to their murder-suicide. Mac Williams telling the operator,
"My mother is attacking me.
What is going on?
I'm holding her on the floor."
Do you say you're holding her on the floor?
Yes, she keeps attacking me.
That is not true. I need you to let go of your mother and leave the room.
Williams and his mother, Danielle Cavalier, were in a heated custody battle over Danielle's other son, Nick, a disabled adult. Weeks later, Danielle, Nick, and Mac's wife were found shot dead. Medical examiners say Mac died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Major construction and a big traffic headache this weekend. Tonight, all northbound lanes on I-5 will shut down from I-90 to Northeast 45th until 5 a.m. Monday. State Transportation Secretary Julie Meredith says make contingency plans.
That could mean finding alternative routes, leaving early or staying late, allowing more time to travel, taking transit when possible.
Crews will create safe work zones for a long-term 2-lane closure through 2026. KIRO News Radio weather, cloudy skies with highs in the low 50s. It's 51 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio. With your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome back to the show. 1 hour down, 2 hours to go. Fantastic show ahead. 2/3 of a fantastic show ahead, I should say. Okay. We got a lot of stuff we're going to chat about. At 1:30, you're not going to want to miss it. We're going to talk about, because it's Friday, we thought it would be fun. There's a couple of movies coming out that I'm actually very excited to see. It's been a while since there's been, I really feel like in the last 5-6 months, there have actually been some really good movies in the movie theaters. And so I've been excited to see them. And there's a couple new ones coming out. One that I cannot believe they're still making. It's the 5th in a very long franchise. And then another that you showed me, Spike.
I showed you this, and I brought this to you out of cynicism.
Yeah.
And I was going to ridicule it, and then I watched the trailer.
You and me watched it together.
And now I'm thinking, wait a minute.
We both fell in love.
Maybe I was a little quick to judge you.
Yes, it looks, and we'll talk about all that at 1:30. So we'll make some recommendations for you guys. All right. Also, you can text us, 888-973-5476. If you guys have anything that you're watching right now or you want to share with us so we can tell other people that they should watch it, that's great. I got a nice text over the holiday break. One of the movies I recommended was The Man Who Invented Christmas. And I got a few people who texted in who had never seen it or even heard of it. Remember that one? That's about this origin story of how Charles Dickens wrote Christmas Carol.
Oh, okay, yes.
Anyway,
you told me about that.
People watched it.
Watch it though.
People watched it and they were like, "Wow, this is amazing!" And it really is. It's really good. Let's check it out. Next year, not now. It's Christmas. It's not Christmas time anymore. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about. There's new developments on what's just recently happened in Minnesota with that ICE incident between that driver of the vehicle, Renee Good, and an ICE agent. They now have that video footage. You and I both watched this earlier before the show, but they now have that camera footage from the agent involved in the shooting.
And this is he was holding his phone recording, circling the car.
The whole incident kind of takes place over a few minutes. His recording of it looks to be only a little bit less than a minute of what happened. He takes his phone out, starts recording. He's kind of circling the vehicle.
Right. Interacting with a woman who is...
who I think is...
the wife.
Has been described as the wife of the woman driving.
Yes.
On CNN last night, Anderson Cooper, he had a video, like a long lens, not a long lens, I think it was actually a porch camera, is my guess, because it was just very stationary and looked like the front of somebody's house. But her vehicle parks in the middle of that road where the interaction happened, and it looks like it's there they describe it as being there for like 3 minutes.
I've seen this video. I think that's a fair descriptive.
And we still don't have definitive, who knows for sure why she was there, but it does seem like she was with a group that was, following along and obviously had gotten into this confrontation. I don't think they intended at all for it to escalate to this level, of course.
No party did, I don't think.
But there was some intention, it seems, from my perspective, to block what ICE was attempting to do.
And you could use the word obstruct.
You could use the word obstruct.
I think it's a fair thing to describe.
But what the Cooper video shows, which I thought was kind of interesting, is in a lot of the stories that were initially put out, it was a mother, a poet, a mother of 3 shot and killed, which is horrible, obviously, and it's very sad that she died, obviously. But we still didn't know why she was there, and it was kind of being billed as like Minnesota mom, ICE kills Minnesota mom, almost as if it was random. I don't think anybody's at this point saying that it was a random killing that happened. Obviously,
she placed herself in that environment.
It seems like she placed herself there. Yeah. And in the video that's shown on CNN last night, she pulls over. Her wife, it appears, I can't tell for sure, but it looks like the passenger in the vehicle. It looks like there's a passenger in the vehicle that gets out and goes across the street. And we also have footage from her wife filming, which then makes you ask the question, like, okay, well, were they pulling over knowing there was a nice interaction happening so that she could get out and start filming whatever was going to happen? Probably assuming it would just be a knock on the window confrontation and then they would pull down the street and leave. I'm sure she didn't think it would cost her life.
Well, that was what initially the Renee Good was instructed to do, was to leave the area, to clear the street.
Yeah. But why did they pull over, and why did the wife get out and start filming? Why was she not in the vehicle anymore?
Yeah, well, they were filming ICE, and that's the modus operandi of these public observation groups.
Sure,
they want to follow ICE procedures to make sure that they're doing things by letter of the law, maybe, or to just to record.
Well, they call themselves
and report on the situations.
What they're being called in a lot of stories, and I think what the legal term would be like a legal observer, a lawful observer.
Lawful observer, yeah.
The problem is if you go outside the law, like we talked about this a little bit yesterday, if you start doing things that are illegal in order to obstruct something that you think is illegal, even if it's not, like, does she know the letter of the law? I don't know.
Right.
But if she's doing something illegal, you're no longer peacefully protesting. You're no longer a lawful observer. You've injected yourself into a situation. And that's where this gets really muddy and where everybody's now talking about it.
Sure.
So when I saw this tweet from Bob Ferguson yesterday, I think this speaks to something that you and I are doing a better job of, which is we're not in Minnesota. You and I were not involved in the incident. We were not on the ground. All we can do is see all the footage that everybody has. And do our best to not paint it as a very specific one thing without having all of the evidence in front of us, which nobody has right now.
Right. That's fair.
And so when Katie Wilson and Bob Ferguson are saying these things, it seems to me like what they're trying to do, and you can let me know if I'm wrong about this, but it seems to me like they're trying to put forward a very specific point of view. And Bob Ferguson's a lawyer, right? He was the Attorney General of our state for a while.
Absolutely. I hope he's a lawyer. He was Attorney General for a while. Did anybody check?
Do we know if he's a lawyer? No, I'm sure he's a lawyer.
Great question. No, he is, of course.
He strikes me as a smart guy. I don't think you get to be the governor of a state like Washington without having brains. But when you put something like this, he says, this was a tweet that he put out yesterday. He said, now ICE is killing moms in the street, ? The escalating violence from the Trump administration against immigrants and protesters is absolutely outrageous. The state of Minnesota must be allowed to pursue all avenues to seek justice. But that first line there, now ICE is killing moms in the street, ? To me, I don't think that's framing it completely accurately. ICE didn't know that she was a mom.
Well,
what they knew is they had somebody in a vehicle that you and I have now seen many, many videos. It does appear as if she accelerates, whether she knew he was in front of the vehicle or not. She does accelerate into ICE agent.
Yeah, with wheels turned to leave the scene.
Whichever way they turn.
But with an officer in front of her vehicle.
He's right in front of her vehicle. And so, when Bob Ferguson says stuff like this, or when Katie Wilson says stuff like this, we played a short clip of this earlier, but I don't play her statements. This was Katie Wilson yesterday before the Renee Good vigil. And again, I feel like I should say this so people don't think I'm a jerk. I feel awful for what happened to Renee Good and her family.
Of course you do. I don't think you need to clarify that. Of course you do.
And her wife, I feel horrible for these people.
Right.
And what I feel awful about is you have 3 kids now. That woman had 3 kids that don't have a mother anymore. Her 6-year-old, who she had just dropped off, doesn't have a mom anymore. I mean, her 2 other kids are slightly older, but they're not old enough to you never don't need your mom.
I hear.
I'm a 42-year-old man, and I still talk to my mom as much as I can.
Yeah.
Because I love my mom. I want her in my life.
Lost my mom when I was in my 50s. It was far too soon.
There wouldn't be a day.
Miss my mom every day.
You would call your mom every day if you could.
You bet.
And these kids have now been deprived of that. And the question is, was it avoidable? I think the answer is obvious. I think the answer is yes. It was avoidable. And it makes me sad that that situation happened.
Yeah.
But when Katie Wilson says stuff like calling it murder, I don't think she's being completely fair to the situation. Let me play this and I'll get your thoughts on this. Oh, sorry, that's my bad, my audio here.
Yesterday, armed ICE agents in an unmarked vehicle detained 3 North Seattle neighbors at Evergreen Washelli Cemetery. I am furious at the federal government's abuse of power. It is unacceptable to kidnap people who are simply going about their lives. There is no place for this in Seattle. This latest abuse comes on the heels of the murder of Renee Nicole Good in Minneapolis by federal agents. Renee was a poet, a caring neighbor, and a mother. Someone with a family whose community is now grieving unimaginable loss. These are not abstractions. These are real people, real families, and real harm. I know many people in our community are frightened and outraged about the way ICE and other federal enforcement agencies are being deliberately deployed across the country to intimidate and harm our communities. I am heartbroken and outraged too. This moment demands action. Here's what we're doing. Seattle is a welcoming city. We already have laws in place that forbid our local police from aiding ICE in most instances. The police will adhere to these laws. That's an important step. But it's also true that we have limited authority with regard to the actions of federal agencies. And I know that our existing laws are not enough to keep people safe.
Can I pause it there real fast? I think that's an important point. She's saying local police are not working with ICE. Okay, I understand that. They have ideological differences. That's the city's purview. That's fine. The problem with that, though, is that by saying things like we need to take action, which she did just prior to that statement, she's putting now, you notice who wasn't following ICE around in Minnesota? Minnesota police. Because ICE wasn't technically doing anything unlawful. You may not like what they were doing, but they weren't doing anything unlawful in going around and making arrests. Am I being unfair with that assessment?
No, I don't think you're being unfair, but there have been documented instances where ICE has overstepped. And that's, and you have to take those into account, I think.
But in this case, it doesn't appear as if they were doing anything illegal by being there.
ICE up at
ICE
North
in Minnesota.
Seattle? Oh,
in
Minnesota. Okay.
In Minnesota.
Okay.
So the problem is the police are not there to run cover for the citizens and to say, hey, you know what? You guys should probably back up a little bit. ICE is doing something. They're trying to make some arrests. The situation could get dangerous for people. And then you have regular citizens like a Renee Good who feels like, I want to make an impact. I'm not disparaging her desire to do that. I'm just saying she ends up being in harm's way in a place that she does not need to be in harm's way. And now her kids don't have a mother.
Let me ask you this, though, because, I mean, when Governor Ferguson says ICE is now killing moms in the street, or Katie Wilson says the murder of Renee Good, these are inflammatory statements that I don't know bear out when the evidence is gathered and the investigation is completed.
Sure.
Then maybe if that's what's found, there'll be times to make statements like that. They don't help in this instance.
Yeah.
But, no one wanted the result in Minnesota.
Yeah.
No one went into that with that end game. So is ICE overreacting when there's a woman blocking the road, okay, who's in obstructing legal ICE procedures? Okay, I'll give you that. I think that seems pretty clear. And she's asked to move, and she She's asked to move, and within 10 seconds, there's an agent who goes over to open her car door because they're going to obviously make an arrest.
Well,
because why else would he be opening the car door?
Well, here's
let me finish this thought.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
go ahead.
The idea is for them to go about their legal processes and their legal activities. ICE's legal activities.
Yeah.
Someone's obstructing them. They can't move through the street.
Sure.
So they ask her to move. Why don't they just let her move? They want to, and I'm speculating, and it's just my opinion here. I'm just assuming.
That's what we do.
They want to arrest her. Why do they want to arrest her? Do they possibly want to send messages to other people who are legal observers? If you decide to involve yourself in our situations, you will be arrested. Is it a deterrent to other people?
I would answer your question with a question, respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think she was legally observing in this situation?
She was blocking the road.
Was she obstructing a lawful enforcement that they were already in the middle of?
Possibly, quite possibly. I don't. The investigation will find out. Quite possibly.
The video that I saw from Anderson Cooper was a 3-minute video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's not like she just pulled around them and in 10 seconds this all happened. It seems like there was stuff that happened before, and then it ended up in this horrible situation.
Yeah.
So, and obviously you and I, we don't see everything. We don't know everything, so we can't say what led up to this. But I can say from the videos that I have seen, there were commands given that were ignored.
Okay.
There were then an attempt to pull her out of the vehicle, which she then tries to back up, and then she tries to go forward, and she tries to ignore.
As this agent reaches into her car, she decides to leave the scene. And we mentioned that the wife of Renee Good, the other Mrs.
got
Good,
out and started filming.
And it seems
I don't know
to
if
me,
her last name is Good, though.
I think it is. I think I read that it is.
Okay.
That was attempting to get back into the vehicle.
I saw that at the end, yeah.
To get back into the passenger, got out of the passenger seat of this stopped Honda Pilot.
And for the 2 or 3 minutes you're sitting in the road, he's now filming
the officers.
Yeah.
And as attempting to get as they're making her getting back in the vehicle, she was attempting to leave. The officer then reached into the car, trying to extract her open the car door to extract her from the car.
Well, at that point, is she leaving, or I'm not a legal person.
Yeah.
At that point, is she leaving, or is she fleeing from an arrest?
Let's say she's fleeing from an arrest.
Sure.
That's not justification for using lethal force. Because Supreme Court has ruled in numerous cases.
And I would agree with you, except that there's a ICE agent in front of her vehicle who she hits.
I agree. And it's also police procedure not to step in front of a vehicle, to stop a vehicle, because that puts an officer in a dangerous position. If you want to stop the car, put a car in front of her car. Don't put your body in front of her car. That puts an officer in a life-threatening situation as well. I mean, that is standard procedure for not just local law enforcement, for federal law enforcement.
Let me play you this clip. This was interesting. Chicago Police Superintendent, his name is Larry Snelling. I thought he had a very, and the reason we're talking about all this is with these statements from Katie Wilson about we needing to take action, and Bob Ferguson
saying we're asking for responsible, reasoned responses,
responsible, right? Listen, yes. If the police are not stepping in saying you are doing illegal things, then they have, like you heard there from Katie Wilson, she even says, because obviously she's got legal advice. Somebody says, we are limited in our ability because of the laws. She doesn't like the laws, but those are the laws.
Right.
And they're doing something that's legal. So if you obstruct them in their legal, rightful actions that they're taking, even if you don't like them, you're putting yourself in harm's way. I'm not even arguing that you can't like what they're doing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying don't put yourself in harm's way because you could end up losing your life. And Superintendent Larry Snelling, his Chicago Police Department, said this. And I thought this was just wise advice for people so you don't get so caught up in the social media chum that sends people out with inflammatory statements to be the first line of defense against federal agents who are within their rights to defend themselves if a vehicle hits them, who have weapons, and you shouldn't be fighting them. That's not your job. But listen to what he had to say.
Federal agents, ICE, HSI, are officers. They are agents of law enforcement. If you box them in with vehicles, it is reasonable for them to believe that they are being ambushed and that this could end in a deadly situation. And it's reasonable for them to use force based on those conditions. Do not box in any law enforcement officer. You are breaking the law when you do that. and you are putting yourself in danger following law enforcement agents around. The question is why? What do you plan on doing? It's also reasonable for them to believe that you're eventually going to do harm to them. If you ram any vehicle, especially that one that contains law enforcement agents, and that's any law enforcement, local, state, federal, county, and you do this intentionally, this is considered deadly force. Deadly force is anything that can cause great bodily harm or death. When you plow into a vehicle that contains law enforcement agents, you're using deadly force.
I think that's just solid advice. Again, I'm not saying I'm not saying that you can't not like what they're doing. I'm just I was really saddened by that story in Minneapolis.
Of course,
it's
you're
tragic.
Human. Yeah, you're human.
And I have a 6-year-old, and so the idea of seeing, thinking about that kid who was just being dropped off at school, coming home to find out that his mom's not coming home, is awful. And, I think like all of us obviously wish it didn't happen. So
sure.
I think that was a really good message from the Chicago police superintendent to people out there. Just, be safe and don't put yourself in harm's way, because everybody just wants to get home to their families at night.
Yeah, man.
All right. Can we lighten this up a little bit?
Of course.
Can we talk about other stuff when we come back?
Of course.
Thank you. Okay. When we come back, we are going to discuss. There's 2 new movies coming out. One of them is one of the most bizarre plots I've ever heard in a movie ever, and it kind of looks awesome. And the other one is equally bizarre, but has made hundreds of millions of dollars.
So they're going to make it.
So they're going to keep making them.
Yeah.
We'll talk about those next. Stick around.
This hour is brought to you by Insulation Northwest.
After voters made it clear they want change.
That I will faithfully conduct myself as the mayor of the city of Seattle.
What should Seattle residents expect from Mayor Katie Wilson?
She talked a lot about our affordability crisis.
Northwest News voices you depend on.
It's a misdiagnosis of the problem. You believe government can solve this problem.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM. The KIRO News Radio app with opinion and analysis at mynorthwest.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-897-4400. That's 800-897-4400.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through January 25th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
Guys, if your energy is low, your strength isn't what it used to be, or your drive feels off, it's not just getting older. For many men, it's low testosterone. At Revive Men's Health Washington, you can start with a free T-check, exam, and consultation so you get real answers about your testosterone levels and overall health. And this month only, qualified patients may receive 25% off testosterone replacement therapy. This isn't guesswork or one-size-fits-all treatment. Revive specializes in personalized, closely monitored testosterone care designed to help men feel stronger, sharper, and more like themselves again. With over 120,000 patients treated since 2011, Revive Men's Health is trusted for results, not hype. If you've been putting this off, now is the time to act. Claim your free T-check and consultation and see if you qualify for 25% off TRT. This month only. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Terms apply, must medically qualify.
How about a New Year's resolution where the commitment takes just one day and the results can last a lifetime? Address years of hair loss like I did with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment. Using your own natural hair, Advanced Hair can restore your bald spot, receding hairline, or thinning. All backed by Advanced Hair's guarantee. Celebrate the new year with a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Hey, it's Jason Rance. I'm here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from None Better Tax Resolution. So there are some folks who probably think that they are in the clear because they haven't been hounded by IRS agents for the last few weeks, but that is a false sense of comfort.
It's a false sense of comfort, and I understand why people feel that way, Jason, because with the IRS shut down, all the revenue agents, the auditors, the revenue officers, the tax collectors, they weren't in their office. And the IRS stopped sending out notices because they knew that, people just couldn't respond to them because there weren't a lot of IRS personnel around. And so you get comfortable, you get complacent. But I tell you, folks, really, if you got an IRS issue, it's better to take care of it now than later. It really is.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, then call Greg Nunn. None Better Tax Resolution. From stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN. None Better Tax Resolution.
I love the fact that Mike Novak sells more homes than anybody else. This guy works so hard. You know what's happening? People are selling their homes again. And if you don't have Mike Novak's name on that sign, well, you're wasting your time and your house is just going to be sitting on the market. Mike is so confident that he can sell your house quickly. And for more, you'll pay no commission if Mike Novak doesn't sell that home in 21 days. So go to meetthenovaks.com. I'll spell Novaks for you. Novaks. Meetthenovaks.com.
Take the next step to becoming a Seahawks season ticket holder. Join the season ticket holder notification list to secure your spot in line. By signing up, you'll be the first to know when space becomes available on the official Blue Pride wait list. Plus, receive team news, special ticket offers, and more. Visit Seahawks.com/season tickets to sign up today.
Save $600 on windows and $1,500 on doors from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Plus, enjoy 12 months same as cash financing. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granello. Federal authorities now say 2 people shot by immigration agents in Portland were members of a Venezuelan gang and entered the country illegally. The Department of Homeland Security says those agents opened fire only after the 2 people tried to run them over. Portland Mayor Keith Wilson.
We know what the federal government says happened here. There was a time when we could take them at their word. That time is long past.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is in Portland. He says the Oregon Department of Justice launched its own investigation.
They will look into the use of force in this scenario, and if they find that an officer or an agent, federal agent in this case, used force, quote, beyond the reasonable scope of their duty, then they will prosecute that federal agent.
Turning now to the closing bell report. Microsoft is denying rumors of mass layoffs that are on the way. KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery explains.
Several aggregator websites reported talks of plans to cut up to 22,000 jobs in January. But longtime spokesperson Frank Shaw posted on X, quote, 100% made up. The Seattle Times tracked the rumors to online forums like Reddit and Blind, which is a site where tech workers can post anonymously. There has been a lot of anxiety in the tech sector, which saw waves of layoffs last year. Historically, Microsoft has confirmed layoffs shortly after the rumor mill starts to churn. This time, it's a flat denial. Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
U.S. added 50,000 jobs to the month of December. CBS's Kelly O'Grady says that's a relatively low number. It continued a downward trend in 2025.
What economists are saying about 2026 is they're cautiously optimistic. We could see a resurgence, but it's really going to come come down to whether these companies, big or small, if they feel certain about the headwinds going forward. And right now, from the folks I'm talking to, it's a mixed bag.
On Wall Street today, the Dow gained 238, NASDAQ ahead 191, S&P 500 gained 45 points. Let's go now to the real-time traffic desk with Nate Connors.
All right, looking really good out there this afternoon, Aaron. Nothing major slowing you down. Still have this closure in Auburn on the off-ramp from southbound 167 to eastbound 18. We're dealing with the rollover semi. Still no estimated time for this to reopen. Really doesn't seem to be causing an issue. Drivers can just simply take the next exit to the outlet mall, and that'll get you back on to eastbound 18. In Montlake, roadwork still has the Montlake Boulevard off-ramp closed from eastbound 520 until 3 o'clock. In Factoria, south 405 Cold Creek, we still have a collision on the right shoulder. Again, it isn't blocking, but drivers are slowing at the scene, and that's got you stacked up to Southeast 8th, Bellevue to Renton, 20 minutes, and heading into Seattle, South 5, stop and go from Lake City Way in the downtown. Linwood to Seattle, 20 minutes. Everywhere else is wide open. Confident winter driving starts at Subaru of Puyallup. Find stress-free pricing at SubaruofPuyallup.com and enjoy stress-free buying experience at Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Now to your forecast, we are drying out for this afternoon. Even some sun breaks on the way. We'll see rain, though, pick up later tomorrow night. Right now, 52 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
All right, welcome back to the show. Feel free to text us all your thoughts and deepest hopes and dreams and desires, 888-973-5476. We really can't do anything about those, but we're happy to hear them.
We know people. We can get something done.
We do know some people.
We can help you out.
We will read some of those text messages towards the end of the show, so you don't want to miss that. Okay, Spike, we both love movies.
Love movies, buddy.
Love movies.
Yep, it's an escape. A much-needed escape.
It's a wonderful, much-needed escape. Although this first one we're going to talk about is one that I would never want to be involved with, even though it's hilarious.
Talking about Toy Story 5?
No, but that looks great.
Right? Because you said it's a successful multi-million-dollar, what do you call it? Franchise. Yeah.
This is Jackass 5. Very similar to Toy Story 5. Very similar storyline.
You know, it's funny. They pitch to the same intellectual level, but the ages are different.
There you go. Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
I think that's totally fair to say. Yes.
A smart third grader and your average Jackass
fan.
And
a completely stupid
I'm going to say your average
guy
Jackass.
My age.
Yeah, right. You're a little younger.
Did you watch Jackass when you were growing up? Or were you? Is that part? I came out when I was in high school.
Yeah, I was already a father and an adult, when Jackass came, and I was amused by it.
But you could still be entertained by it. Yeah,
come on. People, who doesn't love slapstick humor?
It was just guys who were not professional stunt people.
No.
Putting themselves and their bodies in much harm.
It was
in
us
harm's way.
laughing at the pain and suffering of others. And who doesn't love that? That's as old as time.
Where they would do things like, I remember one of them was having to crawl across. They hung like a line, like a wire over an alligator pit. And then they made a guy, they covered him in
raw chicken.
Covered him in raw chicken.
Yeah.
And then they made him climb across the line covered in raw chicken as these alligators jump, or maybe they're crocodiles, I don't know.
Yeah, well, they're going for him.
Snapping at him.
Right.
And you're just sitting there going like, well,
and they're filming it.
He might get eaten.
For our enjoyment.
Yeah, and it was really, really funny.
I mean, it's, put him in a shopping cart and send him down a hill.
Yes.
Let's take that up a notch.
Yes.
Let's shoot him out of a cannon.
There was cannon shooting.
At a wall of cactus.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, it wasn't shoot him into the cannon, into water. It was
no.
Cannon.
At a wall of cactus. Let's have him snort wasabi.
So they're going to be doing a fifth one of these. But what's crazy to me is when they started doing these, I want to say this is 20-something years ago now, because I was in high school.
Yeah, about right.
These guys were in their early 30s.
Your body could take a little abuse in your early 30s.
A little
late
bit,
20s,
a little bit more.
Sure.
Yeah, late 20s,
bounce
early
back
30s.
from today's shootings.
Johnny Knoxville is 54 years old now. He's legitimately an old man. And
I love him. I got to admit, I got a soft spot for Johnny Knoxville.
Me too.
Gotta love the guy.
He's great.
He's genuinely funny. He's got real talent.
He got
other people to do this, so he's obviously a leader.
Yes, he does. He pulls people into this scheme.
Right. It's we didn't mind when Huck Finn did it. When we paint that fence, everybody. Let's how much fun is this?
You're right.
That was okay.
Except in that story, they would be like slamming their heads against the wall and filming it for our enjoyment. did you know he had to once? I was just reading about this because I had remembered he'd had some like crazy injury during a stunt in 2000. Is this true? I guess this would be, 2007 during an MTV stunt. He apparently injured his private areas, and he had to use a catheter for like 3.5 years.
Wow, that's man, dedication to the art. Your commitment.
Got to make your money somehow.
Yeah, commitment to the art.
He had 2 kids during that time, so he said everything else was working fine. But he did. He had to use a catheter for quite a long time. So, but this new movie comes out. I believe it comes out June 26th, and these are just funny movies. I don't know why I still enjoy them as much as I do. It's the same part of me that still enjoys watching South Park.
Sure,
South Park's still funny.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
seeing these guys just do. But what's funny now is they're so old now. Now it's just funny to see old guys do almost anything. And it'll probably be much. I wonder if the stunts will be a lot easier.
What if don't they have new people to hurt?
Doesn't look like it. No,
they're doing God.
All the old crew.
All your favorites are back. We patched them up and sent them back out there for you.
Yes. Okay. So the other movie that you found is a movie called
Sheep Detective.
Sheep Detective.
Yeah, and it's funny because you turned me on to a trailer for The Death of Robin Hood, a new Hugh Jackman movie that's coming out.
Which looks sweet.
Looks fantastic. Hugh Jackman is he's amazing.
He's a great actor.
He's a song and dance man, Wolverine. He was P.T. Barnum in The Greatest Showman. The guy's Broadway. He's done Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I think I saw that they're redoing one of the classic Rodgers and Hammerstein piece. I think Carousel.
He's an entertainer.
But he's also
Logan. That movie Logan was fantastic.
He's got this film going. When I was watching the Death of Robin Hood trailer, I saw Sheep Detective, and Hugh Jackman plays. The premise of this is he's a shepherd, and he's a lonely man. He's a shepherd, lives in a Jetstream type Airstream trailer.
Yeah.
And he loves these sheep, loves them. He reads to them every evening.
He looks like a great shepherd.
Looks like a great shepherd, right? I'm not giving any more than the trailer. He's killed.
Yeah, he's murdered.
And the sheep solve the crime. It's talking sheep.
Tell him what he reads every night. He reads
murder. He reads detectives' murder mysteries. He reads them whodunits.
Yeah.
So these sheep have become detectives.
It sounds ridiculous, but listen to this. So what you're going to hear here is it's obviously I assume this is CGI. I assume they didn't train real sheep to do this. But these are sheep, and the cast is great. Tons of people in this.
Not just the voice actors, but the real actors, because apparently this shepherd who loved his flock was worth a ton of money.
Yeah,
and there's what's the word I'm looking for? There's crime, ill actors, bad actors, whatever. Ill intent,
villains.
Yeah, there's ill intent.
Listen to these sheep. Oh, if my audio is on, here it is.
Wake up! Everybody, wake up! We found George on the grass, and he's not moving.
Yeah, these are sheep moving around.
Let's make it clear. These are sheep talking.
The CGI has gotten...
Looks fantastic.
It's real. It just looks real. There's nothing about it that looks fake anymore.
What? Lily, tell us what to do. Our shepherd was murdered. And we shall solve the crime.
That goat you hear in the background, he goes, bah. It's like you've seen goats faint.
Yeah.
She goes, our shepherd was murdered, and then you see a goat just go, faint. I bet that somebody pitched this. Somebody had this crazy idea. It's such a crazy idea, but it really seems like it looks like it's going to work. I don't know if that's the case, but it looks pretty good. I'm very intrigued. Good actors. It looks well made.
Emma Thompson, Patrick Stewart, Hugh Jackman, Regina Hall. This is a massive cast.
Huge, yeah. I imagine somebody was like, what if you remember Babe the Pig?
Sure.
What if Farmer Dockett was murdered? Babe had to solve that murder. That's actually kind of a good idea for a movie.
That's not a bad, but this is...
This is like what would have grown from that stupid idea. They would have said, what about sheep? Because Babe's already people have forgotten about him.
I brought it to you to ridicule it, but then I just fell in love with the trailer. It's so
great.
Adorable.
I'm so glad you told me about this. It looks fantastic. All right, we have a lot coming up. This is kind of fun, too. This is another fun story. There is Buffalo Bills are getting a new stadium.
Yeah, the Bills are moving out of Rich Staff. 50 years to that place.
And just like when the Kingdome was torn down, people are grabbing chunks of the old place. And
yeah, it's got dear special memories to the fans of the Buffalo Bills.
Stuff they're auctioning. the stuff that they're auctioning off now is pretty fascinating. So we thought we'd kind of dive into some of that stuff and how much people are willing to pay for a urinal, which we will talk about next. Stick around.
The Closing Bell is brought to you by Trajan Wealth Management.
Seattle voters wanted change.
I campaigned on affordability, on homelessness, on taxing the rich.
Can Mayor Wilson live up to the promises of candidate Wilson?
The self-proclaimed progressive socialist managing high expectations.
Trusted Northwest News voices you depend on.
More government programs, which means more tax dollars.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM. And the KIRO News Radio app.
I remember brushing my hair and looking down and thinking, oh my gosh, do I have any hair left? I used to look at women with thick, beautiful hair and think, why doesn't my hair look like that?
My thinning hair is making me feel so old.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. With clinically proven ingredients like apple extract, biotin, and millet, Hair Volume nourishes your hair follicles to promote thicker, healthier-looking hair. Say goodbye to shedding, thin, and dull hair, and hello to thick, healthy hair with Hair Volume.
Since taking Hair Volume, the shedding has all but stopped.
Now, instead of being jealous of other women's hair, I have friends who are jealous of mine. My hairdresser couldn't believe the difference in my hair. Now she's using Hair Volume too.
Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com, or find Hair Volume in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
What does VA mean to me?
A place for my daughter to call home, thanks to the VA Home Loan.
A new lease on life. The best healthcare team I've ever had is here at VA.
And education, and the opportunity to open doors I never thought possible with my GI Bill.
The financial support I need to manage the disabilities I developed because of my service.
Get what you earned. Visit choose.va.gov.
Not all veterans are eligible for the type or amount of benefits mentioned here.
I'm worried.
About what?
Water.
Oh?
Hot water, if you really want to know.
Water heater worries?
Worried it's wearing down.
Running out?
The hot doesn't last like it used to.
So you're...
Worried.
I got a guaranteed fix.
Let me guess. A new water heater.
Right, but...
That's what worries me.
Well, worry no more.
Why?
What you need is an Apollo Plumbing water heater.
Because?
We include Wrenchy's worry-free warranty.
Wrenchy's what?
Worry-free warranty.
Which means?
When it wears out, we replace it.
No extra charge.
As an A-List Club member, you're covered for life.
For life?
For as long as you're an A-List member. You get annual life-extending water heater flushes included.
So it lasts longer.
Right.
And when it needs replacement,
you're covered.
With no worries.
Because it's Wrenchy's
worry-free warranty.
What else would you expect from the Ready Right Now plumbers?
Apollo Plumbing.
Home of Wrenchy's worry-free warranty.
What about tankless ones?
Worry-free too.
Gotta love that Wrenchy.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Breast cancer is a tough battle for anyone to fight. But when you can't work, care for your kids, or even put food on the table, that diagnosis can be devastating. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda, a plastic surgeon who is proud to support Northwest Hope and Healing. Our mission is to provide a lifeline for breast and gynecologic cancer patients. We cover essentials like food, utilities, and childcare, so patients can focus on healing. For more than 25 years, Northwest Hope and Healing has distributed over $3 million to thousands of local cancer patients, and you can help make a difference in our community. Join us on Saturday, January 31st, for Cork, Fork, and Support, an afternoon of fine wine, gourmet cuisine, and inspiration at Mary Hill Winery in the heart of Woodinville wine country. Get your tickets now for Cork, Fork, and Support on January 31st. Go to nwhopeandhealing.org to learn more. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates demonstrates honesty and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Take the next step to becoming a Seahawks season ticket holder. Join the season ticket holder notification list to secure your spot in line. By signing up, you'll be the first to know when space becomes available on the official Blue Pride wait list. Plus, receive team news, special ticket offers, and more. Visit Seahawks.com/season tickets to sign up today.
Hey, this is Pete from Home Matters. Tune in this weekend when we'll talk with local business owners about everything in and around your home. Join us on Saturdays from 2 to 3 right here on KIRO News Radio or listen to the podcast on mynorthwest.com.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious, with better nutrition too. It's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best.
Feeling cold? Your windows may be the issue. Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors for 25% better energy efficiency and up to 30% energy bill savings. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. All right, welcome back to the show. Spike, the Buffalo Bills are getting a new stadium. Is that correct?
Yes, opens next year. Built right next door to the old dump.
And
excuse me, with due respect.
Have you been to the original Bill Stadium?
No, I've never made it up to Buffalo.
But it's very old, right? It's decades old.
It's 50s. I mean, 50 years old, I should say.
50 years old. Okay, so sometimes it's funny because with I remember back in the day when they were trying to get a new Key Arena. They were trying to get a new Key Arena. There was all these complaints and yada yada where we need more tax money for a new arena. Key Arena was actually a pretty good venue for basketball. It wasn't bad, and they had just a few years earlier they had done some sort of an update to it.
A major renovation to Key Arena, and the commissioner of I think it was Stern at the time of the NBA. Goes, this is one of the most beautiful, blah, 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 blah. And then 2 years later, this is a piece of crap.
It's funny how quickly opinions can change when you want to take the team away. So in Buffalo, but 50 years is a long time. That's being held together by, chewing gum and masking tape at that point. Yeah, other disgusting things. Yeah. But they're oxygening. I keep saying oxygen.
They're auctioning.
They are oxygening.
Nope.
Auctioning.
Auction.
They are auctioning.
There you go.
Off. Auctioning.
You got this.
Pieces of the stadium people can now buy.
It's a beloved, treasured memory for so many Bills fans.
Sure.
Absolutely.
We have
how many great days did you see there? How many OJ ran there?
Now we're 50 years.
Jim Kelly, 4 straight Super Bowls. Bills fans love this place.
Sure. We have some seats here. They're really cool here at the station.
Yeah.
We have some old Kingdom seats.
Yeah. Those are beautiful.
Sometimes I'll just go up there and just sit. But they're in the boss's office, so she's like, "Can you please leave?" No, I don't do that.
No.
But you can buy a pair of seats from the Buffalo Bills Highmark Stadium for looks like the auction starting price right now is $650 for a pair of seats, which
that's not unreasonable.
If you're a huge Bills fan, I think you would pick something like that up. That doesn't seem too crazy to me.
That's not too bad.
They're also selling. You can get a commemorative case. Like a little glass case, and in that case, you can get like a 2x2-inch square of turf.
The field turf from?
Field.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Now, the field turf, I would imagine, has changed once every few years.
Yeah, pretty much. Evolution, or is that right? Yeah, technical.
turf from the 1980s, those fields are just
concrete.
Basically concrete.
You might as well just paint the floor green.
Exactly.
And slam yourself into it.
Like when you watch old videos of the Kingdom, and you see literally, it's like you're tripping over carpet.
Did you ever get to walk on that old
I did.
Turf? Yeah.
Yeah.
I played softball there once.
Did it hurt your knees?
It was horrible.
Can you imagine being an athlete,
diving
like
for a ball?
Jr.?
Yeah.
Just built like a genetic miracle, and having to play your career on your knees on a place like that.
Garbage of a playing surface.
Awful. So that's $99 for a 2x2-inch little chunk.
Okay.
Which is not.
It's not bad.
Not bad.
It's not bad. For the fanatic.
Yeah, if you're a massive fan.
For the fan/fanatic.
They have not announced yet how much they're going to be selling the urinals for, but they had similar urinals to what they had in Kingdom. You remember the big Kingdom urinals?
The sheet metal trough kind of thing?
The big troughs.
Great.
Those are great.
It's fantastic.
Kind of gross. The idea of bringing those in, I don't know where else you would put those except maybe the side of your house or in your garage.
Man cave. Got a man cave.
I mean, you've got to Clorox that whole thing.
Oh, you power wash that.
50 years of other guys' urine.
Horrible. They cleaned them. You know, it's funny.
I hope.
When I first moved to town and started working in Seattle and would go to the Husky Stadium before the remodel. And did you ever get up to the old Husky press box?
Mm-mm.
The one that was literally hanging from the roof. Would
it shake with the crowd?
Absolutely. It would shake with the wind.
Disconcerting.
You didn't need the crowd to get going, and they got going. You would literally walk down like a gangway to this perch press box that was suspended from the roof canopy over the seats.
Yeah.
There were places that the floor had rusted through, and you could look through into the people sitting below you in their bleachers from the press box. But I tell you this because they used to have a men's room in the Husky press box that was a wall of urinal. It was literally a 30, 40-foot wall.
Like a trough, but
a ceramic tile.
The whole wall.
The whole wall. It was
they
about.
Just said, let's make this whole room a urinal.
Yeah, basically, one side of it was a long wall.
That's genius.
With running water cascading. It was almost like a waterfall garden.
That must have felt kind of nice in there.
It was great, and you could get 60 reporters in there within a 10-minute halftime.
Sure.
You know, now they have a more modern, sanitary urinals. Blah blah blah.
You're missing out.
Yeah. That thing was efficient. You get in, you get out. You know, you didn't have to wait for an opening. You can elbow your way in. You had to go, you elbow your way in.
I think that's so smart.
Elbow up to the bar.
What have you ever gotten anything at auction that you are particularly proud of?
I got outbid on one of those. I got so much stupid stuff, but it's like autograph stuff. I have a decanter, a little statue that used to have Jim Beam whiskey in it. You pull Johnny Unitas's head off. And there was Jim Beam in it. I bought that at auction.
It's got Johnny Unitas?
It's Johnny Unitas. It's a little ceramic golden arm Johnny Youth leaning back, throwing the classic pose.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And his little head, his little helmet pops off, cork neck.
That's perfect.
Right there, Jim Beam, baby.
How old is that, do you think?
That's from the 70s.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's from the 70s.
I like stuff like that.
I love stuff like that. I also bought the matching Brooks Robinson of part of the collection.
There you go.
I got one on each side of my desk.
I got a shooting script. I like movies a lot.
Oh.
Somebody gave me a shooting script from Raiders of the Lost Ark as a gift. And so I have it. It's like a treasure to me.
That's wonderful.
It's pretty cool.
It's not autographed, is it, by anybody?
It's autographed by somebody. Yeah. All right. We got a lot more coming up. We're back.
This is your city.
Seattle voters have spoken, and they wanted change.
Wilson really resonated, especially with some younger voters.
On the terms of working people, make it work for them.
Katie Wilson is just actually not afraid to say she's a socialist.
What challenges does the political newcomer face once taking office?
Never having any managerial experience.
Stay with KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com for the latest.
Change takes time, and we don't give it time.
And the KIRO Newsradio app.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through January 25th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
Guys, low energy, low drive, or strength not what it used to be? For many men, it's low testosterone. At Revive Men's Health Washington, start with a free T-check exam and consultation to get real answers. And this month only, qualified patients may receive 25% off testosterone replacement therapy. Call 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Terms apply. Must medically qualify.
It's cold outside, and if you're noticing it's taking forever to heat your home, there are cold spots in certain rooms, your furnace turns off and on a lot, or it never stops, or maybe your energy bill is just way too high. These are all warning signs that your home needs a blanket. There may be something wrong with your insulation, which means not only are you uncomfortable in your own home, but you could be wasting hundreds or thousands of dollars a year in lost energy. Call Insulation Northwest today, and we'll send one of our professionals to give you a fast, free energy inspection to determine if there is a problem. And if there is a problem, we can fix it fast. Most jobs are completed in one day. You have nothing to lose. The inspection is free and only takes about an hour and could save you thousands. Keep the heat in, the cold out, and your energy bill low. Call Insulation Northwest today. Insulation Northwest, the real insulation company.
Please ask if you qualify for thousands of dollars of free rebates from your energy company.
InsulationNorthwest.com. Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. The White House shares cell phone video of a new angle of the fatal shooting of Renee Good by an ICE agent in South Minneapolis Wednesday. In the video, which some might find disturbing, Good says, quote, "It's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you." And then,
"Suck some lunch, big boy. Go ahead. Down the car."
a source says the video comes from the ICE agent who fired the shots. Vice President J.D. Vance posted the video on social media with a comment repeating his argument that the officer's life was endangered and he fired in self-defense. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry says his city is safe but is being made unsafe by ICE.
50% of the shootings that have happened thus far in Minneapolis this year have been ICE. In other words, we've only had 2 shootings. One of them has been ICE.
He calls for transparency in the investigation that the FBI is conducting solely. President Trump has been meeting with top executives from American oil companies following the ouster of Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro.
President Trump says the United States did what needed to be done.
The departure of Maduro makes it possible an incredible future for both nations, Venezuela and the United States.
Starting with taking back U.S. oil assets.
They stole our assets like we were babies. And the United States said absolutely nothing about it, so now we're doing everything about it.
Now, says the president, those assets will be rebuilt, and the economies of the U.S. and Venezuela will be closely integrated. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
With growing deadly protests over Iran's struggling economy, the country's supreme leader signals an upcoming crackdown on protesters. This man says through an interpreter.
Look at this market. None of the shops have customers. Why? Because people don't have money. How can anyone buy anything now?
President Trump again warns he could order military strikes. Luigi Mangione, accused of the 2024 killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, has been in court today for a pivotal hearing. CBS's Bradley Blackburn.
His legal team is fighting to block the government from seeking the death penalty. Their argument centers on the charge that Mangione used a firearm in the commission of a violent crime. They say the charge is flawed and should be dismissed.
Employers added 50,000 jobs in December, nearly unchanged from a downwardly revised figure of 56,000 in November. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
It's a little bit less than the 60,000 expected, but well within the range of expectations. But for the year, job creation really did slow down.
This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Coming up, a school bus crash sends 11 kids to the hospital. That's after Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
Thank you, Aaron. Subaru of Puyallup got our update. We've got a new collision in Lakewood, South 5, just past State Route 512. It's taking up your right lane. This is our only backup between Tacoma and Olympia right now, and it's a brief one. Tacoma to Olympia, a half-hour commute. In Auburn, we still have this rollover semi southbound 167 at the off-ramp to State Route 18, so obviously you cannot access eastbound 18 from southbound 167, but you can access eastbound 18 if you take the very next exit to the outlet mall. Montlake Roadworks still has the Montlake Boulevard off-ramp closed from eastbound 520 for about another hour, 3 o'clock. South 405 still slows from southeast 8th and Bellevue down to 112th. Pretty thick through Factoria. Bellevue to Renton, 20 to 25 minutes. And both directions of I-5 just a little slow through the downtown core as you head through Seattle. Confident winter driving starts at Subaru of Puyallup. Find stress-free pricing at SubaruofPuyallup.com and enjoy stress-free buying experience at Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. 11 elementary school students were taken to the hospital this morning after their school bus crashed into a car near Parkland. This happened at the intersection of Waller Road East and 128th Street East. Deputy Carly Capetto on the extent of the injuries.
When that bus braked hard to avoid hitting that sedan, all those kids flew forward. And so many of them complained of injuries from neck and head injuries.
She says the bus did have the right of way when it crashed into that sedan. You can see video of that collision at mynorthwest.com. Health officials are now warning of a measles exposure in both King and Snohomish counties. Here's KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery.
A family from South Carolina visited Marysville, Mukilteo, and Everett after Christmas. They flew in and out of SeaTac Airport. And then they found out one of the adults and 3 of the kids had measles. It's a highly contagious virus. Measles can spread before its telltale rash appears and stay in the air for 2 hours after an infected person leaves the area. Young children especially can have serious side effects. Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
This week's Washington Husky QB saga ends with Damon Williams Jr. staying on Montlake. This after Williams announced he was entering the transfer portal even after signing a contract to play for UW. Former Husky QB and Seattle sports host Brock Heward.
There were a lot of teammates outraged, a lot of alumni, a lot of Tyee Club, a lot of donors. Still very, very outraged at this. And yet I think the school will say, listen, he's 19 years old. He made a terrible decision. He made a terrible mistake. He had terrible judgment. He had bad actors in his ear. And this is the state of college football.
Redmond police are warning residents about a roofing scam that cost one homeowner nearly $300,000. Detectives say 2 men with Irish accents went door-to-door in the Education Hill neighborhood, claiming to work for a local contractor. After starting their job, they pressured that victim into paying for unnecessary repairs. Police are investigating similar cases. Weather update now, drying out this afternoon along with some sun breaks. We'll see the rain, though, return later tomorrow night. Right now, 52 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio with your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome back to the show. 2 hours down, 1 hour to go. A lot of great stuff to get to. Thank you guys so much for all the text messages coming in. You can get us on the text line at 888-973-5476. We always enjoy talking with you there. And also, we will read the best of the best at the end of the show, which is a lot of fun for us too. Coming up next in just a few minutes at 2:30, we're going to have our Friday favorites. We're going to look back. It's been a very busy week. We're going to look back and find out what stories kind of gave us the best memories or were most impactful to us over the week, or
just tickled us in a way.
Just tickled us. We just want. Spike loves to get tickled, and so we always look for something that tickles Spike. Every day he says, A little tickle. Give me a little tickle.
On the inside, not physical touch.
HR asked him to stop asking me to tickle him, and so we
just
did.
to keep it from a feeling perspective, not a
professional.
touching perspective. They were really clear about that.
And I said, "You're overstepping, HR. I don't mind tickling. I don't mind it."
I like working with you.
All right, let's get to our guest. I'm sure he's sick of us talking about tickling. He's a state rep. His name is Travis Couture. He joins us now.
Thanks so much for ending this, Travis. Thank you for joining us.
Woo. Hey, thanks for having me on again.
Welcome, man. Happy New Year to you, although by my own advice, it's far too far in the month to keep saying Happy New Year to people. It feels weird. But I'll say it to you. Happy New Year anyway. Travis.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you guys as well.
Thank you very much. Travis, there is a something in our state that we passed back in 2023 called the Keeping Families Together Act has been in place, and you are going to be at a rally coming up. This is going to be next week. You would like to see this law changed. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. House Bill 1227, the Keeping Families Together Act, which was enacted in 2023, has led to a 200% plus increase in child fatalities in our state. We have a record amount of babies and toddlers dying while the state stands by and watches innocent children locked into homes where there is active hard drug abuse like meth and fentanyl. Sadly, there's nothing the state can do because of that law. There's nothing judges, social workers, foster parents, anyone can do to remove kids from dangerous situations where there is fentanyl present. And the tragic thing that's happened is that all we've seen is more and more deaths, a record amount. It's unacceptable. And honestly, you guys, every single night I go home, I could think about a lot of things, taxes or policy. This is the one thing that I think about and eats me alive when I look in the mirror at night. And even though I've always opposed this law and I want to change it, that, I hold myself as a legislator with some level of responsibility for what happens to innocent kids in our state.
Sure.
We have to do much better. And so I have a bill 1092, and then we're going to have a rally on January 14th, which is next Wednesday at 1 p.m. on the Capitol steps. And we're going to stand up and give those kids that lost their voice and were snuffed out before their life could ever truly begin. We're going to give voice to those kids, and we're going to go advocate for changes in this child welfare system.
Can you explain a little bit to the audience? It's got I don't think anybody would object to the idea of keeping families together. Everybody goes, hey, that sounds like a nice thing. But in practice, since this thing passed just, basically a couple years ago, if there has been a 200% increase in fatalities and near fatalities for kids and kids in the foster system, what was the original intention of this bill, and how could it have gone so poorly?
Yeah, the original intention was about, diversity and equity, right? The original sponsor of the bill has said multiple times that they didn't want minority children to be disproportionately removed from minority homes. And although that might be true, right now what we're actually seeing is this big catch-22 where minority children are dying at disproportionate rates. And the difference, of course, generally everyone would support keeping families together. That sounds good.
Yeah, it's a noble intention.
Yeah.
The devil is in the details. You can't, the state has to protect people who cannot protect themselves, and that includes small children, right? From abuse and neglect. And parents have parental rights unless, by the Constitution, there is abuse and neglect. And we cannot keep families together at any cost, especially the cost of a child's life.
Yeah.
And right now, the drugs are so dangerous. The fentanyl is 100 times more dangerous than the meth.
Yeah.
And if you leave just enough fentanyl powder that would touch the tip of a pin around a baby or a toddler who are exploring their world, and they put it in their mouth or a fentanyl pill in their nose, they just instantly die. And it's sad and tragic. And for 3 straight years, I've had to read about these tragedies from families all across Washington State.
I've read them too.
Yeah. In this policy. And even one of your colleagues, Charlie Harger, wrote a big story about it recently. And we just got to do much better. And what my bill proposes is that we don't rip families apart forever. what we do is for the safety of the child first, we remove them from the dangerous situation, and we make sure that the barrier is such that we can remove a child from a dangerous situation filled with the hell of hard drug abuse. But then we don't necessarily go after the parents. We realize that they're in a substance abuse addiction and that we need to get them help. So it's a two-pronged effort. It's get the parents help, the safety of the child, and also support of good foster parents. Foster care is not perfect, you guys, and everyone knows that, but it's a lot better than being dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
at the end of the day, we want to make sure that if we can, and if it's safe and appropriate, we can put the biological parents and the child back together again.
I just can't imagine anybody having a strong objection to that. That makes totally reasonable sense to me. And you mentioned it a second ago, but Charlie Harger did have this jaw-dropping story. It was right before the holidays. And I mean, it would have hit home anytime, but especially right before we all go on vacation to celebrate the time with our families. He talked about there was a homeless kid living in a tent with his mother near Aurora, living outside. I mean, it's the middle of December, and his mom is a prostitute. She's addicted to drugs. I think he said she's addicted to fentanyl. And she was having Johns come into the tent, and he would just go and hang out in the bushes. And the neighbors in this area started calling SPD, and they started calling CPS, and they said, what is going on here? There's a prostitute here. This kid has clearly parents who are in dire straits, addicted to drugs. He's living outside, technically under the cover of tent, I guess. Why isn't somebody helping him? So SPD respond to this, CPS respond to this. They come and they do wellness checks, and their conclusion is, based on the law of the land in our state, because of this Keeping Families Together Act, their hands are tied, and they can't do anything for this kid because even though the mom has these addictions, and even though she's a prostitute, and think about all the strange weirdos that they found in that tent with these Johns who were, paying her for God knows what. And this poor kid who's 9 years old is having to go hide in the bushes while this is all happening. And then the state making an argument that he's not in any imminent danger. That's insane. And it's because of this law. And thankfully, through some means, they ended up finding out that this kid did he get sick? What was the reason that they ended up giving him, pulling him into the hospital, which then triggered something?
He had fallen ill to the environment he was living in.
Yeah. And so they were able to start him down the road to getting help. But until that happened, the state kept saying, yeah, we can't do anything about it. He's fine. He's totally fine. And all the neighbors were like, we'll literally let him come and live with us. He's clearly not fine. Do something. And the state just said, no, we can't.
This law, Travis Couture is on with us. This law was put in place because they felt that keeping families together was the least harmful in a lot of cases for these kids. Does your bill provide safer alternatives? How does it provide safer options than keeping the family together? Because keeping the kids safe, it should be the priority of any law, but beyond keeping a family together.
Yeah, absolutely. And also on top of this, a lot of these kids are born addicted to drugs. They didn't even get a fair chance to start life with, right? But as far as, what I'm proposing, we need to be able to change what Jake described as the imminent harm piece of the legislation of the bill itself, right? And basically imminent is a measure of time, not seriousness. And it's impossible to read that crystal ball for a judge or a law enforcement officer or social worker and prove that they will be imminently harmed if there's drugs in the home. And that's the barrier that we absolutely need to change. And on top of that, when we're talking about what do we do, oftentimes there are family members who are healthy, safe, and whole, waiting, and we call that kinship care. It's kind of like foster care, but it's kinship care. We're talking aunts, uncles,
grandparents,
brothers,
extended family,
etc. So a lot of the families that I've talked to over the course of 3 years are in this category. They're waiting to help their own kin, their own family member. And then we have good, some really great foster parents who really do want to be able to feed, bathe, and nurture these kids and make sure they get an education and they go to school. That kid in the tent wasn't going to school either, which is also against the law. But at the end of the day, like I said, foster care is not perfect, but it's better than being dead. But also, if you can't care for, nurture, bathe, feed, clothe your child, and you're on fentanyl, it's because you can't even do that for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. And we have to realize that reality. The drugs are getting more and more dangerous. Designer drugs, even tranq, it's eating people's flesh off the bones. And this kind of pro-drug policies that, Washington State has had is destroying lives. And I'm not saying that we need to go back to the 1980s and the whole full-on scale war on drugs. I'm saying we need some balance, and we need to use common sense and realize that when we can step in and help a family and keep them together, and it's appropriate and safe to do so, then we should. But if it's not appropriate and safe to do so, then we need to step in and remove that child before they die.
That kinship care thing that you mentioned it's such a vital piece too. When you think about, we've done a lot of stories. We've obviously, there's some of these stories you can't even cover because it's just so depressing. But we've had plenty of stories where you have an infant crawling on the floor who finds a pill or a piece of foil. That's all it takes, and they lose their life, or they very nearly lose their life. And the scary thing is that you're asking these parents under the current law, under the Keeping Families Together Act, you're going and evaluating these parents. They don't want to give up their kids. Nobody wants to give up their kids, but they also are not in their right mind. And you're sitting there with sometimes loving family members. I mean, we've all dealt with people in our lives who have gone through hard times, who are not making rational decisions right now, but you know that if they could get the care, sometimes if they're forced to get the care, then maybe they can start to see the light. But they're in such a deep, dark hole, they don't even know the hell that they're in. And
let alone what they're doing to their kids.
Let alone what they're doing to their kid, who has by no choice found themselves, the child of somebody going through a very dark time. So I think this is a very smart idea, and I hope that there's. I mean, are you seeing bipartisan support for this? Possible future bill.
Yeah, well, my bill 1092 does have bipartisan support. I have Democrats signed on to it as well, and I think that we're in a tipping point. We have to do something. We cannot ignore it any longer. And, one of the things that's frustrated me over the last 3 years on this topic is, you look inside of the fatality reports from the Department of Children, Youth, and Families, and the child's name is blacked out, like redacted. And I feel like not only is it just redacted because it's a report with a child's name, but I feel like that's how they're actually treated here in Olympia. It's just another government statistic, another black line, and that has to end. These are real human beings, real children, and they have their whole lives ahead of them. And we're like allowing state policy that stands by and watches the worst happen. And the numbers keep going up, and it's undeniable now. And honestly, I go home and I remember their names. I remember Oakley Carlson. I remember Ariel Garcia. I remember the little girl in the Tri-Cities who had 2 fentanyl pills shoved up her nose and died because her parents were using fentanyl in the bathroom. And I remember the kid up in Whatcom County who got a hold of his dad's fentanyl straw. And I remember the no-named baby up in Port Townsend who was murdered by his fentanyl-abusing dad and thrown into the bushes like that life did not even matter. And that matters to me. It matters to me, and it should matter to everybody. And that's why I need everyone's help, right? I need everyone's help to change these laws because those kids matter. They're not just a government statistic. And we can absolutely have the power to solve this right now. We just have to show up and try and be the voice for these kids when their voices were snuffed out. Voiceless.
What can our audience members do to help you? Can they call their local representatives and tell them to pay attention to this, Bill 1092?
Yeah, they should log in support, and they can comment support for 1092, House Bill 1092. They should absolutely, you're right. Also, talk to their legislators, email, phone calls, but they should show up to this rally because it matters. And if you don't do anything else this year politically, just do this. Just show up to this rally for these kids whose lives were snuffed out. And then after the rally, everyone who's attending the rally plans to go talk with their legislators at the Capitol here. So go have those honest conversations. You don't have to accuse anybody of anything. You just say, hey, we really see the numbers. It's unacceptable. We got to save these kids. How can we change these laws? Go talk to your legislators about it. And I think we're almost at the tipping point where something good is going to happen for these kids. It might not be perfect, but it'll be a big step in the right direction. And this is my number one policy priority this session, other than obviously the state budget that I work on.
Well, Travis Couture, he's a state rep. This is going to be this is Wednesday, right? The 14th, 1 p.m. on the Capitol steps. You can meet him there. And Travis, thank you for the work you're doing. I think this is really important, and I hope that this passes, and I hope it gets overwhelming support. There's nothing more important that we have in our lives that we do than to, for those of us with kids and to be parents, and for those of us who are grown-ups, to provide a world where kids can still be kids, and hopefully they can do it in a safe environment where they feel safe and they feel love and they feel protection. And I appreciate you working on that, Travis.
Yeah, and I thank both of you, Jake and Spike, for just allowing me the opportunity, and also the opportunity for these kids, and for covering this very important story. And I look forward to giving you good news later on.
There you go.
We love it. All right, that's Travis Couture. Thank you so much for your time, man. We appreciate it. All right, we have a lot more coming up. I mean, man, what a important thing that is, Spike.
It is. Great job.
And you can have a thing that is well intended, and it can have a negative outcome. And I think it's okay for people to realize, like, hey, you know what? Just because we intended something to do good, if it's not doing the thing that we wanted it to do, if there are these negative sides that lead to, especially when they lead to the worst outcome, which is
loss of life
of a life for a child, let's make a correction. We can correct.
Yeah.
So let's do that. All right. That was 1092, right? House Bill 1092.
House Bill 1092. The rally is the next Wednesday, the 14th, 1 o'clock, Capitol Steps.
Capitol
Steps.
Steps.
A pre-rally at 10 o'clock. They're getting together at the fountain, and then the rally at 1 o'clock. And then going to talk to local legislators while you're in Olympia, while they're in their offices.
Who doesn't support keeping kids safe?
Yeah.
All right. We got a lot more coming up. Friday favorites next. Stick around.
This hour is brought to you by Davis Law Group.
After voters made it clear they want change,
that I will faithfully conduct myself as the mayor of the city of Seattle.
What should Seattle residents expect from Mayor Katie Wilson?
She talked a lot about our affordability crisis.
Northwest News voices you depend on.
It's a misdiagnosis of the problem. You believe government can solve this problem.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM. The KIRO News Radio app with opinion and analysis at mynorthwest.com.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like rugs. People say a rug would really bring the room together. And sure, you don't know what that means, but it sounds important. Suddenly you're using words like jute and sisal. Then you see the price and lose it, because how can the thing you walk and spill on cost so much? So you devote your life to taking down Big Rug. But then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you hundreds. So, looks like Big Rug is safe. For now. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-771-1300. That's 800-771-1300.
Febreze. It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This winter, drive with confidence in a Subaru from Subaru of Puyallup. From rainy commutes to icy roads, Subaru's legendary all-wheel drive and advanced safety are built for our winters. Subaru of Puyallup is known for something even better, a stress-free car buying experience. No pressure, no games. Just friendly Subaru experts helping you find the right vehicle at the right price. Start shopping now and see our stress-free pricing exclusively at SubaruofPuyallup.com. Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership, part of the Harnish Auto family.
What does VA mean to me?
A place for my daughter to call home. Thanks to the VA Home Loan.
A new lease on life. The best healthcare team I've ever had is here at VA.
And education, and the opportunity to open doors I never thought possible with my GI Bill.
The financial support I need to manage the disabilities I developed because of my service.
Get what you earned. Visit choose.va.gov.
Not all veterans are eligible for the type or amount of benefits mentioned here.
More than 4,000 women are diagnosed with breast cancer every year in Washington state. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda with Northwest Hope and Healing. We provide a lifeline to breast and gynecologic cancer patients, and you can help us make a difference. Join us for Cork, Fork, and Support, an afternoon of wine tasting and inspiration on January 31st at Mary Hill Winery in Woodinville's Wine Country. Get your tickets now for Cork, Fork, and Support. Go to nwhopeandhealing.org to learn more.
Hey, this is Pete from Home Matters, a show that covers everything having to do with your home. Tune in every Saturday from 2 to 3 on KIRO Newsradio, where you'll hear from local business owners who are experts in their industries. From foundation to flooring, roofing and windows, furniture, and financial planning, it's everything in and around your home, and we've got you covered on Home Matters. If it matters to you, it matters to us here at Home Matters. Saturdays from 2 to 3 right here on KIRO Newsradio, or listen to the podcast on mynorthwest.com.
Guys, feeling low energy or low drive? It could be low testosterone. At Revive Men's Health, start with a free T-check and consultation. And this month only, qualified patients may receive 25% off TRT. Book now at ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Terms apply, must medically qualify.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo. Another cell phone video of that fatal shooting of a woman by an ICE officer in Minneapolis has now been made public. This one was taken by the officer who fired those shots. CBS's Ashar Karashi reports.
It shows the officer walking up on the SUV and the moment before he starts firing those shots up until the part where he does open fire, killing Renee Good. And it's hard to make out. Some of the audio is a little bit garbled. You can hear and see some of the interaction there.
Out of Portland, where federal agents opened fire yesterday on alleged gang members from Venezuela, KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is in Portland.
The Department of Homeland Security says Luis Moncado and Yorlenes Zambrano Contreras both entered the U.S. illegally in 2022 and 2023, respectively. They describe them as criminal illegal aliens. That he is a member of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, and she was his prostitute. A witness of the shooting now tells the Seattle Times Moncada was driving and was confronted by agents. Moncada reportedly backed his car into another vehicle and sped off. The witness says they heard 5 gunshots. In Portland, Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
The Oregon Department of Justice has opened its own investigation into the shooting. Jurors are deliberating right now whether Seattle is liable for a teen's death during the 2020 CHOP protests. Seattle Times reports the case went to the jury yesterday. Antonio Mays Jr. was 16 when he was shot at the Capitol Hill protest zone. His killing remains unsolved. Major traffic alert for this weekend as a stretch of I-5 northbound is closing at midnight tonight. Crews are preparing a work zone on the Ship Canal Bridge in Seattle. Details from KIRO 7 TV's Ranji Sinha.
I-5 between I-90 and Northeast 45th Street will see all the northbound lanes shut down for the weekend for the work for Revive I-5. But some ramps are closing at 9. So if you have plans this weekend that take you northbound on I-5 through Seattle, you're going to need to find a new way to get to your destination. Give yourself extra time.
And come next Monday, 2 lanes will be closed northbound on the Ship Canal Bridge. That'll last until June. Let's go now to the traffic desk at 2:32. Here's Nate Connors.
Thanks, Aaron. Seattle Sports has our update. South 405, you're packed from Southeast 8th to Bellevue to Cold Creek Parkway. A little more slowing as you get through near the VMAC. Bellevue to Renton, a 20-minute trip. Isn't bad at all. Heading into Seattle looks pretty good. South 5 eventually jams up at the Ship Canal Bridge in the downtown. North 5, you're going to slow approaching the West Seattle Bridge in the downtown. Over in Montlake, roadwork still has the Montlake Boulevard off-ramp closed from eastbound 520. That'll be wrapping up here in the next half hour. So a reminder, if you get on eastbound 520 from Seattle right now, you'll have to cross the bridge and pay that toll. Westbound 520 at the west end of the bridge, we've got a disabled vehicle blocking your right lane. In Auburn, we still have our this off-ramp block southbound 167. The eastbound 18 off-ramp is still blocked as they work on righting up this rollover semi. We're about 2.5 hours into this. Looks like they're getting close to getting this out of the way, though. And we've got a 90-minute wait for drivers at the Mukilteo Terminal this afternoon. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube and click subscribe to get fresh video content daily. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
And now to your forecast. Drying out this afternoon. Sun breaks, partly to cloudy, mostly cloudy skies. Rain returning tomorrow night. Right now, 52 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
All right, welcome back to the show. Favorite segment of the week. We get to look back on our favorite stories. We call it Friday Favorites. We get to look back on things that really made an impression on us. This was a busy week from day one, just like stuff every day. Every day there was stuff. So it's interesting. It says a lot about our personalities, what we look back on, and what we want to remember and think about.
Fair, yeah.
Laura, are you doing one today? You have one in mind?
Yeah, I'll do one. I think my favorite was pretty easily Bobby Wagner watching The Martian with no sound and
Super
Spike
funny.
thinking that it was a totally different movie. I'll play a little bit of the audio.
You just had subtitle? I have nothing, bro. What? I made up my own, like, just what I thought was going on. Was there a reason why you did that? No. I was on an airplane, and you know how I missed the part where they said... That makes sense when you watch me. Pass you out the headphones. So I don't have the headphones that stick into the thing. So the lady next to me was, like, had just started the movie, so I was watching it, and I just saw crazy going on. And I low-key watched the whole movie.
I think this is so funny because who among us has not done this on a plane?
Sure.
Side-eye a movie?
Side-eye a movie?
Yeah, you bet, yeah.
Yeah. And it also reminded me of when I was on a plane last year and watched Anora because I was thinking Oscar nominated, haven't seen it yet. It was an option on the plane. That movie, if you know the opening scene, should not be watchable on a plane.
On a plane.
Oh, yeah. You're
By
right.
any
There are some
means.
movies that you're just like, wait a minute, there could be kids sitting next to me.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I've seen kids looking through the crack between the row behind you watching something over your shoulder.
Whoa.
Watching Anora. Yeah.
Yes, right? That shouldn't be happening. Why? Some flicks on a plane just are not appropriate.
What was funny, too, is you thought...
When
we said it was the Martian.
The Martian.
But
Matt
Spike
Damon.
thought it was.
Mars Attacks,
Mars
which is a completely ridiculous movie.
Very different movie.
Very different
I mean, The
movie.
Martian, he's pretty much alone. I mean, he is alone up there the whole time. So
Yeah.
you could feasibly watch that movie on silent and still kind of get the gist.
Yes, exactly. Mars Attacks, not so much.
What would be, I know this is a tough question to answer real fast, but, and maybe the answer is Mars Attacks. I was going to say, what movie would be the most confusing movie if you didn't have access to sound?
I don't know. Any well-written movie without dialogue.
Yeah.
Where it's not an action. I mean, you could watch any John Wick movie with no sound.
Yeah, you get
And
what's
you
going
know
on.
what's going on.
You're totally right. You
Easy
get what's going on.
breezy. He's going to kill somebody with that fork or
Yeah.
whatever he's got in his hand. But any good, I mean, you can't watch any kind of
anything.
Censor sensibility.
What about
any of the old stuff?
12 Angry Men? You love that movie.
I love 12
It all
Angry
happens
Men.
in one room.
It does.
And it's all discussion
Very
based.
talky-talky.
That's not
right?
fair because I've seen the movie 100 times.
So
I could probably do
You
that
could fill
movie.
it in, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he had never seen Martian prior.
Right, he'd never seen The Martian.
His
Right.
At the end, he's just, like, I got to remember to watch that
Watch it with the sound one. Hey there, how you doing? With the little plant at the end. I love that movie.
Let me do mine second, Spike, because
sure.
mine is relatable.
Celebrities, they're just like us.
Celebrity former Seahawks. This is Marshawn Lynch. He was on over the weekend. Obviously, the Seahawks had a very great result last week. And the Manning cast is pretty phenomenal. It's on ESPN2, I think.
Yeah, you can watch as an
And
alternate to any ball game.
Yeah, it's Peyton and Eli.
Their game of the week, yeah.
Two brothers sitting down. They watch the game, and you watch it with them. And the game's kind of in a little, it's screen and screen type stuff.
Yeah. But
you're seeing their commentary on the game and on the plays.
That's almost as good an experience as watching the game.
It's better. I think it's so much fun. I love it. It's so great. Sometimes it's fun just to watch a game, and you're not listening to these guys yakety yak.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, they'll also have guests on with them. And in this case, it was the Seahawks versus 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had Marshawn Lynch come on. And so Marshawn Lynch came on, and he was talking about everything under the sun. And a lot of beeps are needed. Pretty funny, but he talked about a few things. One of them was what makes him so great at breaking tackles. And then the other one we'll get to in just a second is him and his high school yearbook photo, which is he looks like a different person. It's very funny. But this is him talking about breaking tackles.
You want the truth?
Yeah.
Man, running from my mama, man.
Clean truth. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, all right, as clean as I could get, but I think it was running away from my mama because my mama was the type to she was real fast
200 track meter runner. Had the record in Oakland for, I think, over like 20 years. And when I wasn't doing right, and I thought I could run away from moms, you feel me, they'll kick them shoes off, put them feet to the pavement, and I mean, she would hawk me down, you feel me? So I had to get creative.
Oh my God. So funny. And then he talked about his high school yearbook photo, which they found, and he just looks like a complete.
I would love this. I didn't see it. I'd love to see
Look it
this.
up online. I don't think we have the rights to show it here.
Oh,
but
okay.
He just imagine a young, dorky Marshawn Lynch. He has no cool hair. He's just got it's high and tight. He's got thick glasses on, so he can see. He looks very studious, which is not what you often associate and think about with Marshawn. I think about like the guy chomping on Skittles, breaking tackles, but he was apparently just studious enough to get into college. But listen to how him describe it. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, were you most likely to go pro in football, or your class thinks you'd be like a professional accountant or something?
Nah, man, I was going to be in the tech world with the square look decoy. You understand what I'm saying?
You see it?
That's the same guy?
Is that wild?
Can't believe that's the same guy.
Crazy.
Hey, them glasses would put me in a mix. That's how I actually got into Cal, man. You feel me? Because at this point in time, I probably was still like a 2.0 student. But I threw them glasses on, and the teachers was like, "Oh, look at him, he's studious and hella." You feel me? I'm talking about, yeah. So look, I'm trying to go to college. I'm gonna need at least a B in here. Like, man, just for you trying, I threw them glasses on every day.
Get that 2.5.
Yeah, no, they bumped it up. I had 3.2, baby.
3. That's a 3.
Yeah, I'm 3.2 with it.
So funny. Yeah, check it out.
I love who Marshawn has become since his playing days ended.
Yeah.
I love that networks are thinking outside the box.
Mr. Good Time guy.
Yeah.
He's just like super friendly.
You saw him, the NFL's playing in Europe. Here goes Marshawn pedaling through this little European village on a bicycle, meeting people.
Yeah.
He's a
diplomat.
He's an ambassador.
He is. He's an ambassador.
He's a great ambassador of the game and of the country. I would vote for this guy.
Yeah. Why not?
There's a lot of offices he could hold. I think he'd do a better job.
He could do a lot of good.
He really could do a lot of good.
Let me say this. He couldn't do any worse.
There you go.
Than a lot of folks.
He's awesome. That's
All right.
great.
What was your spike this week?
Okay, you brought this in, and it cracked my heart open. And this has been, you mentioned, it's been a busy week. It's been a tough week. You know, it's been a divisive week. It's been a heartbreaking week. From whatever side you find yourself on, it's a tough week to get through. You brought in this audio of a woman who told a story. She was 80 years old and woke up one morning in her what it was like to wake up in your 32-year-old body.
She's imagining. She's kind of looking back as an 80-year-old, and she's imagining what it would be like to wake up in the body of your 30-something, 40-something-year-old self.
Yeah.
And how you might look at life differently.
Right.
If you had one more day to do it, like we're all rushing through. We all rush through life so fast. Yep. We just talked about like how fast and busy this week was. But if you had one day, and that was 5 days, and just like that. But imagine if you could just have one of those days back to see your little kid. Listen to this. This is just beautiful. And it was a letter written and read by a radio host. I think this is in Australia, but it applies across the world.
I'm 80 years old, and somehow I woke up in my 32-year-old body just for one day. I wake up to little hands tugging at the blankets. Mum, wake up, they shout. I blink and I sit up slowly. My babies, they're small again. They climb into bed, giggling, wiggling. I remember rushing through mornings, but not today. I pull them close, I hug them tight. I kiss their messy hair, I hold their little hands. This time, I soak in every second. I catch my reflection in the bathroom mirror. No deep lines, no grey hair. My younger face. I used to think I looked old at 41. What a silly thought. I find my husband in the kitchen making coffee. He looks strong and he looks young. I wrap my arms around him tightly. He looks surprised. Maybe we didn't hug enough back then, I think. We talk about the day, and today it all feels big. I memorise the sound of his voice. We pile into the car, kids arguing over seatbelts. Someone drops a snack, there's crumbs everywhere. I used to get so frustrated, but today I soak in the noise and the chaos because I know my car will be quiet and spotless for many years to come.
That part hit me hard.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Dinner is loud and unorganised. No one wants to sit still. There's shouting, giggling, arguing, and so much life. I don't clean up straight away. I just sit and I watch, trying to burn it all into my memory. Before bed, I pick up the phone. I call my mum, and I hear her voice. I haven't heard this voice in so many years. I close my eyes and I let her words wash over me. I tell her I love her again and again. I never want to hang up. And this time, I don't leave anything unsaid. At bedtime, I don't skip pages in the story. I read every single word. And then I ask, can we read one more book? And they say yes. I don't want this day to end. I got one more day. And this time, I knew that this was joy, this was love, those little hands, our strong young bodies with no aches or pains, our parents who are still alive. It all mattered so much more than we ever realized at the time.
Good golly.
Sorry. You know, you always hear this, if I had it to do over again.
Yeah.
You have to do right now. You have it to do in front of you. Take the moments, catch the moments. I tried to at this holidays. I try to just observe these moments. You know, the smile on this face, the little things that drive us. She talked about that drive us nuts. The little hands, the messes, the clatter, the chatter.
To get that back.
Oh man, when it's no longer part of your everyday life, take the time, man. Observe where you're at. Catch the moment. Remember the moment. That's the best piece of tape.
Live for today.
What a message.
It's the weekend, so head into the weekend and remember this. What a nice message. Thank you for remembering that.
You brought it in, brother. Thank you.
All right, let's get some text messages in next. We'll be right back.
Seattle voters wanted change.
I campaigned on affordability, on homelessness, on taxing the rich.
Can Mayor Wilson live up to the promises of candidate Wilson?
The self-proclaimed progressive socialist managing high expectations.
Trusted Northwest News voices you depend on.
More government programs, which means more tax dollars.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM. And the KIRO News Radio app.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through January 25th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
Adrian here from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Winter might seem like an odd time to replace your windows, but now is when you get the best deals. Our Leak Armor installation team will keep your home warm and dry while installing beautiful, new energy-efficient windows. You'll feel the difference right away. Quieter rooms, lower energy bills, and a more comfortable home.
Right now, save $600 on windows and $1,500 on doors from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Plus, enjoy 12 months same as cash financing. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Jane Dawson did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With the money she saved, she got herself a pricey bird feeder with an ultra-high-def camera. Should Jane have just bought a regular bird feeder? Yes. Is it hard for her to admire nature when the camera doubles as the bird's potty? Also, yes. But it's Jane's savings, and if she wants to spend her time watching the digestive habits of the white-breasted nuthatch, we say you go, girl. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. awaits. Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
This is a test of your emergency alert system.
How about a simple New Year's resolution, one that even I was able to achieve? Reverse the clock on hair loss with Advanced Hair's simple one-day FUE treatment. You'll feel more confident and more youthful when you witness your own natural hair growing into those places that have been balding or thinning for years. I'm surprised and relieved every time I look in the mirror. You need to know what that feels like. From Advanced Hair's breakthrough technology to their highly experienced team, there is no one I would trust more than Advanced Hair Restoration. I experienced their exceptional standard of care firsthand. Your comfort and your results are the top priority of the entire Advanced Hair team. Celebrate this new year with a fuller head of hair and get a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 425-449-8185. That's 425-449-8185. Discover what meeting your resolutions could look like with the before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
Confidence with winter driving starts at Subaru of Puyallup. Subaru's legendary all-wheel drive and advanced safety can handle rainy commutes and icy roads. Find stress-free pricing and a stress-free experience at SubaruofPuyallup.com. Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Best Mortgage is proud to be the longest-running mortgage company on KIRO Radio. Over 20 years, they've been giving honest advice you can trust as your VA loan and reverse mortgage experts and debt consolidation specialists, too. Just web search Best Mortgage.
Welcome back to the show. It's the end of a very long week. Everybody's excited for the weekend. Spike, what are you doing this weekend? Anything fun?
Isn't it great to be back, though? I miss you guys at the holidays. It's just, I love doing what we do.
The show, too, is our opportunity to kind of get out our thoughts and feelings. It's like a therapy thing almost. And all this whole Christmas break, I kept wanting to tell my wife my opinion on things. She's like, just stop.
Me too.
She goes, just wait and tell Spike. Wait and tell the audience. She goes, I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, our band's playing tonight. Over Clearwater Casino.
Oh, cool.
Tonight, the Impaler Show by 8 o'clock tonight. 8 o'clock tonight.
Tickets still available?
Tickets are available. Yeah, you can get a few tickets to get in.
Clearwater Casino.
Yep, over there in Sequim, I think it's called.
Squim?
Yeah, not Squim. Squim's way out on the peninsula.
It's a different place.
Yeah.
Sequim.
Clearwater.
Sequim.
Just off Bainbridge Island.
I know where that's at.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful casino.
So I'm jumping out of here.
If they come to your show, are you going to say hi and take a picture with them?
Of course I will. Fantastic. I'll dance for you. Because I think we got requests to dance on here.
That's top of the thing here.
Yeah.
You want to start us off, Laura?
Sure thing. On Dancing and Dementia, Rick the Plumber says, it's Friday. Can Spike do his dance to close the show? YouTube viewers need to enter the weekend on a high
I think you need to come to the show.
Don't do it Rick now, though. Do it at the very close of the show.
Okay, fair. Okay,
watch.
There you go. Hold them up. Look at you. Nice work.
Yeah, buddy.
There's a crime for us to solve. I like this. I heard this story in the weekend. This is us. Let's not miss this opportunity to help.
Okay, yeah.
Robin and Graham says, I think there may be a new crime-solving opportunity for you guys. The Puyallup family had their barbecue trailer stolen in the past few days. I think you are just the team to help them get it back. Puyallup business is traveling barbecue trailers stolen from driveway in broad daylight. There's a link to the story from KIRO 7.
Yeah, we should.
We're looking into this. See if we can help. Yeah.
Let's get that family on.
Yeah,
and we can solve it.
It's a scruffy-looking man who is wearing a mask and driving a full-size white pickup truck with an orange toolbox in the back. That's what neighbors report seeing when the business trailer was hitched up and taken away.
Orange toolbox, unique.
Scruffy.
Get on those overpasses, people.
We'll get into that next week. Let's get that family on, Laura, too. All right, on that UW player returning to UW now, Rick in 425 says, when you were talking about the UW suing Williams, his name is Damon Williams Jr., I think people have it wrong. They're not really trying to make him stay. I think that they're trying to make him release which school offered him the extra money. Then possibly sue that school or demand sanctions against them. Just my opinion. I also understand why a young man would want to take an extra $2 million. Be hard to pass that up.
Here.
Yeah, Rick, you're totally right.
Jamestown in Eastlake says there's nothing wrong with being an entrepreneur and wanting to protect yourself since you are your own investment. But this just seems ridiculous. Shouldn't he be in school to learn?
Well, that's not really why college athletes are in college. They're there to play football.
You know, what's larger, 6 or 4? There's the lesson right there. $6 million.
Sounds like he needs to go to a better school and go make his money. No, good for him to come
on
back.
AI assists in video games, we talked about this because which company was it that's putting this out now?
Well, it was floated ideas at PlayStation.
PlayStation.
It's not for sure yet.
They're thinking about possibly having your gamer the option of AI help him get through the tough spots.
Yeah.
And B in Puyallup says, I stopped gaming because games have become too difficult. Games are supposed to be fun. Having to work hard just to play a game during leisure time defeats the purpose of leisure time.
They can be very difficult. Yeah. I agree with you, B. I agree with you.
But we had postulated earlier that some of the greatest things about gaming is overcoming those obstacles.
Can't have the highs without the lows.
learning how to get through those adversities.
Absolutely. Okay, on the Buffalo Bills urinals up for auction, 253 says, Caleb in Tacoma says, what about the waterfall wall at Seattle Coliseum? I remember that as a kid in the 90s. It was the strangest thing to an 8-year-old. I imagine it would be. You just go into a giant room full of people peeing on the wall.
That's what was at the UW.
Yeah.
That's just the exact same thing. I realized I went to Coliseum. That's right.
And on memorabilia, Barbara says, I have a bowling ball-sized chunk of the kingdom in my garden, and I also have my 3 favorite chairlift seats with hang bars from Big Chief at Stevens. I'm having the 3 chairlifts hung around a fire pit.
That's very cool.
Isn't that so cool?
That's very cool.
Brilliant.
Good job, Barbara. That sounds fun.
253 says, the world's best urinal is at Cairns, Australia. It is a one-way glass wall looking out into the restaurant from an elevated floor. You can see into the restaurant, but they can't see you.
Yikes. Hope there's no leaks there.
That's bizarre.
It's bizarre. It's weird. All right. Lastly, on the comments of leadership from our state, let's see. 253 says, Jake, you know very well you don't have to be smart to be governor. Just look at Jay Ansley. Lastly, Janet in 206 says, kudos to the 3 of you for handling a tough news week with impartiality and class. Have a good weekend. Janet, that's very nice.
Yeah, thanks.
Why don't we end on a compliment?
Here.
Doesn't that sound good?
You know, we should do that every day.
Let's do it every day. We'll end on a compliment. Everybody did great.
We'll
Good
start
job,
with a criticism.
listeners.
Yeah.
You all did great, too. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. John Curley Show is coming up next. We will see you back here on Monday. Bye-bye.
This is your city.
Seattle voters have spoken, and they wanted change.
Wilson really resonated, especially with some younger voters.
On the terms of working people, make it work for them.
Katie Wilson is just actually not afraid to say she's a socialist.
What challenges does the political newcomer face once taking office?
Never having any managerial experience.
Stay with KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com for the latest.
Change takes time, and we don't give it time.
And the KIRO Newsradio app.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Logan Fury did something smart. He saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With that money, he bought a mini treadmill. Is walking on it during video conference calls more distracting than he thought? Yes. And is that because he overestimated his foot-eye coordination? Definitely. But it's Logan's savings, and if he wants to burn calories and any chance at a promotion, we say, good for you, Logan. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-897-4400. That's 800-897-4400.
Guys, if your energy is low, your strength isn't what it used to be, or your drive feels off, it's not just getting older. For many men, it's low testosterone. At Revive Men's Health Washington, you can start with a free T-check, exam, and consultation so you get real answers about your testosterone levels and overall health. And this month only, qualified patients may receive 25% off testosterone replacement therapy. This isn't guesswork or one-size-fits-all treatment. Revive specializes in personalized, closely monitored testosterone care designed to help men feel stronger, sharper, and more like themselves again. With over 120,000 patients treated since 2011, Revive Men's Health is trusted for results, not hype. If you've been putting this off, now is the time to act. Claim your free T-check and consultation and see if you qualify for 25% off TRT. This month only. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Terms apply, must medically qualify.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Your best source for local news, KIRO News.